Come on. Mama said there'll be days, really, just like this. And we're looking for revenge, regardless of the situation or the scenario. Come on. They say ain't no party like a cowboy party. But what about a Laudation Grove? Come on. Prepare for it, baby. Cowboys leaked schedule. You know, some things are being leaked. I love it. I love it. Did we overreact? And more. Come on. Let's get it. Yup. Ain't no party like a cowboy party. Come on. As the room fill up, be sure sharing is caring. And if you're on the Facebook groove, tag someone, and tag someone. Let's go. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on. Come on. Hey. Come on. All right. All right, Cowboy Nation. Appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. The name is Law Nation. Without hesitations nor deviations to the matter, be sure to hit that like button, share this content. Let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Cowboy Nation. All right, a piece of the schedule been out already, right? Some people knew this last week, right? But far as the information, the Cowboys will play against those 49ers week 5. And I'm looking for revenge. Although, you know, in the last few years or what have you, the Cowboys during the regular season, we don't lose to the Niners, right? We kind of beat them up and leave them with battered bruises and busted eyes and spleens and stuff like that. It's been in the playoffs when we've been laying the egg against those 49ers. And if anybody really want to know, who is our real rivalry, it's not the Eagles, even though they want it to be that, right? It's not the Giants. It's flat out not the Washington team. It's those doggone Niners, man. Oh, yeah, I can't stand those Niners, right? And our real rivalry in the AFC side is the Steelers. Those are only 3, really. Well, only 2. Everybody else, man, you know, all-time record versus the Eagles. Man, we so far ahead of them. We so far ahead of the Giants. We so far ahead of the Washington team. It's crazy, right? So I get it. But a lot of people that's new to this, they don't understand it. We can't stand the Niners. So, yes. I'm looking for revenge. And I promise you guys, this team, if we just stick to our philosophy and play all brand and caliber of football, run the rock, everything else will be fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, also, my guy, the Five Talk Cowboy, appreciate him. Check his Instagram page out. He is getting fed some good information. And he got most of his information right here. Just check out his page. Let me go right here. And if you guys don't know who he is, be sure to click this link right here. It's my dog right there. And you guys can get a chance and an opportunity. Now, we're going to say alleged because we don't want to get hit up with the people that's always like to find the small things that you do wrong and blast it out and say, hey, man, Law said, right? Oh, excuse me, too. Let me get back on the 49ers before we go over this rumors and these sorts of things about who we going to play or what have you. And, of course, it's been leaked, of course. Here it is right here. Cowboys versus the Cards, week 3. But let me say this. For those small-minded Cowboy fans that will say, hey, or feeble-minded, or scared, Cowboy fan. They say, hey, Law, you shouldn't be talking all of that good stuff about the Niners. You shouldn't be having a word to say. Bull sugar. They are direct enemies, y'all. We ain't finna go in there and say, oh man, let's be humble. Let's go in here and let's be quaint. Let's be, oh, excuse me, Mr. 49er. You guys beat us 2 times in the playoff. We should be nice to you all. No. Man, y'all need to grow a pair, man. Start talking that stuff now. Wait, we should wait till after the game. No. We supposed to showcase our fandom right now, Let the players do all of the playing on the field, but we going to have to, for dog should do the talking, right? The 49ers ain't going to play no better or worse by me talking about what we going to do about those Niners, right? Look, these new age fans, man, I don't know about y'all, man. I don't know who I can depend on to go into a fist fight or something like that. Law, we should be mindful that those 49ers, they beat us 2 times in the playoffs. No, man, come on. Shoot. No, man, bump them Niners, man. And when you see them, tell them, bump y'all, man, Truth be told, and they'll be saying the same thing to us. Literally, they are, Yes, indeed. Shout out to your Banks. He says, Law, I got your back, dog. You know what I'm saying? I got your back, bro, I got you, man. Grow up, man. Come on, man. Come on. Getting too old for this. You don't think that they've been on a drought as long as we've been on a drought as well? Come on. Yes, indeed. Come on, man. All right, so let me say this. That is the rumors, allegedly, right? And I get it for those who say, well, can you just post content that's actual? That's not the name of the game. We're going to talk about it, right? Also, it is rumored that allegedly that, it's a rumor / alleged, you know what I'm saying? Alleged / rumor, however you want to go with it, that we will be playing the Jets. Now, what makes this an interested type of topic, because we got to play against good old Aaron Rodgers. And show of hands for those who are really, really into this Cowboys conversation. I left out Green Bay Packers, right, of being one of our rivals. That goes all the way back in the days with Tom Landry, before I came out of the triple darkness of the womb, right? Before I was even thought of, right? So it was a situation that I still can't stand the Green Bay Packers, right? That they are another team that we can put under the umbrella of rivalry, right? But I would say that even though Aaron Rodgers moved on from one green team to another green team, means that I can't even stand the Jets now, So we should be, according to reports, allegedly, we will be playing against the Jets. In my information dial here, appears to be week 2. And then according to nerds on the NFL Twitter, this is from my guy, Defy Talk, we will travel to Philadelphia. Let me just refresh it so you guys can see it. Yeah, my guy, man, he be working hard over there. We'll be traveling to Eagles Land on week 9, and then they'll come to our home on week 14. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Reason why I don't like it, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, NFL. Come on, NFL. Make that thing week 4. Make that thing week 6. So you mean to tell me we got to wait all the way to week 9 to clip those birds? We got to wait. You know what I'm saying? We got to wait. Whoa, that bird flying high, y'all. We got to wait till week 9. Come on, man. Come on, man. Got him. We got to wait till week 9 for your mind to clip those birds. I mean, God, dog. You know what I'm saying? According to this thing, man, they should have had us week 1 with those Eagles. Flip it. I'll wait till week 9 to do the Giants, right? But they got us waiting till week 9 to do against those particular Eagles that we know for sure that they love to be over here. The NFL, they done messed this thing all the way up, man. They done messed this thing all the way up, y'all. Let that thing be one of the first games within at least the first 4 weeks or so. But neither here nor there. I don't care if it's week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. It can be the bye week. We beat up on them birds. We are, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to cook those birds. We're going to fillet those birds. We're going to slow roast those birds. Yes, indeed. 187, shout out to you, man. He says week 5. L for the Niners, right? 187. I feel you. L for the Niners. Yes, indeed. So with that being said, Cowboy Nation, 105.3 The Fan, they had a good topic about an article that was written, and let's go over this. It's about our strategy and our philosophy heading in to the 2023 season without said coach. I didn't listen to it all, so bear with me, Cowboy Nation. Before we get into more and more details, shout out to my guy, Jay Tuck. That boy going crazy on Twitter. And shout out to my girl, Ashley Baker. We had a wonderful show just last night. I hope you guys tuned in to that. She gave us her analysis, her thoughts on Mozzie. Let's listen to it right quick.
That's what I want with Dallas. That's how we used to be back in the 90s when we was dominating and winning them Super Bowls, right? That's what I want. And again, after assessing, like you said, the man was playing around with 800 pounds. That is going to give us that big, nasty, stops the run incredibly well. That was a need. We needed to address the need and stopping the run. Shout out to Dallas for putting need over want.
Right.
They do better than me. That's why I'm not getting paid to be no scout or be in the draft.
Right.
This one don't pay me. This one don't pay me. It's cool.
Yeah.
I would run with my heart instead of my head. You know what I mean? But I like the pick because, again, it addresses the issue that we had last season. And, again, it addressed my personal want of having us be big and physical, starting along that path. So Mozzie was a good pick.
Let's go, man! Let's go!
All right, so great excerpt by her and analysis by her on the Mozzie situation. Here's my thoughts with it. I'm going to say this again. The need versus want, the BPA versus your desire. It's all according to how the Cowboys make their selection. Keep this in mind. Everybody understood that pick was not a sexy one. But for dog sure, it's a necessary pick because of this right here. He may not ever give you 5 or 6 sacks. He may not ever do that. And he may just do that. But what he will allow is 4 to 5 sacks more for your edge guys, like the Parsons. It will keep the jersey clean for LVE, and it should bring some more pressure and more attention to Sam Williams' side or D-Law's side. So this was a necessary pick. It wasn't the sexy pick, because when you start looking back at it, of course, everybody love highlights. Everybody want those moments where you can showcase and present, these are the highlights. These are the gaudy numbers that we can present. But by sure, leave no doubt that the Mozzie pick is very beneficial for us all. We just can't see it from the tangible aspect. It would be very intangible for right now. Just take my word for it, Cowboy Nation. You don't have to, you can say, man, Law, you don't know what you're talking about. You can say that, right? It's a free world. But what I'm saying is collectively, this will help this team out down the line, being big body inside. We came a long way, ladies and gentlemen, from 2018. Who remember Antoine Woods? That was our big boy down inside. That's a long way, and we were trying to stop the run. I'm quite sure if we were able to stop the run in that game, who knows? Football is a game of inches. We would have beat those doggone Rams that time. But, that's a story of another day, right? But in the last two seasons, going 12-5, 12-5, we can talk about some other things about what we needed to do in the playoffs. But before, I just want to go ahead and talk about this right quick. Most touchdowns since 2016. I made a post, and I said, do you bring Ezekiel Elliott back for a cup of coffee? He had 80 touchdowns since 2016. There's only two people ahead of him, Adams and Derrick Henry. Now, I can tell you guys, appreciate you so much. Ooh. Excuse me, appreciate you. Love you, baby. All right, so I can tell you so much that when you think about all of this, Cowboy Nation, and when you start dissecting touchdowns, how you win the game, what can cause you to win the game, scoring touchdowns. Now, I'm not saying that you bring Ezekiel Elliott back and pay this man $90 million. That's not what we're saying. For a cup of coffee is exactly what a cup of coffee do. It's cheap, it's not expensive, right? And it's a short-term situation until you realize what you have or figure out what you got. We don't know what Rojo going to look like. We don't know what my guy Deuce Vaughn going to look like. We don't know what Tony Pollard going to look like. And one can argue and say, well, Law, man, give Malik Davis a chance and an opportunity. Yep, I agree. I agree with all of those assessments. But down the line, when you start thinking about everything, you would say, I want to make this thing a fair competition for everyone. But also, I want to make sure people know that this dude got a nose for the end zone, red zone, money zone, meaning that he can find ways to penetrate to score the touchdown. And we've been having those issues, hear me out, in the past. Remember that, Cowboy Nation. So it's just what it is. If it's going to be a situation you bring them in, at least know that you got someone that been around the block before. It wouldn't hurt, right? But give me a yes or a no. Do you want Ezekiel Elliott back? And then we're going to get into this content. Bring him back for a cup of coffee. Say yes. And then if you say no, I get it. I want to know, baby. All right, yeah, I see a lot of yeses. All you got to do is say yes. So all of y'all, no, nobody saying no. Come on, well, okay, there you go, Dustin. Yeah, appreciate you. Lord, I said, shoot, it's a no-brainer right now. All right, so here's the thing. Here's the thing with veteran running backs. When you bring them back, as long as you got boundaries, set of expectations, and also, hear me out, knowing that what you used to be and what you used to do for us is no longer what we're expecting. We are trying to give this opportunity to a guy that we just paid $10 million for in a contract year, and his name is Tony Pollard. And we are also trying to see whether or not this Deuce Vaughn kid can survive for 17 weeks. We are literally using you as a specialized weapon in the red zone, money zone, green zone, if that is the agreement, right? And I know big egos, when you have that money once before and you're looking at it and your locker is on the other side of the room and you sitting there saying, come on, man, that used to be my spot, man. Come on, how they going to treat me like that? Either it's going to do two things for you. Either it's going to set your mindset to say, hey, these people got me twisted, right? Or It's going to set your mindset that you just can't do it anymore. But I want that angry guy that's sitting there saying, oh, y'all going to do this to me? You going to do this to me? I'm going to have y'all playing football at Pelican Bay shoot program. You know, I want that type of mindset, you know. C. Hayes says Zeke is washed. Oh, my goodness, man. I got you right here, dog. Zeke! I'm getting too old for this, Zeke. You washed, Zeke. Can't stand you, Ezekiel Elliott. I feel y'all, man. I feel you. But we'll find out, man. And like I said, the longer he's on that market, too, that price that he thought that he was going to get do like this. It goes down, right? Right. So we've seen stranger things happen, right? All right, so Cowboys, here we go. Cowboys is for my guy, Barnett. He says Cowboys 35, Giants 17, week 1. Too early to predict. Nah, man, shoot. If we play against, and I think that we are, right? That schedule been released that the Cowboys will face the Giants week 1. We start the season out 1-0 then. We beating those Giants. Okay. Y'all can put that into your mental roll.
Cowboys, what we learned about them, they overreacted to their playoff loss. Giants, they're taking a gamble on Daniel Jones's upside. Washington, their ownership nightmare is close to being over. Philadelphia, they made a huge commitment to Jalen Hurts.
Oh, wow.
That's a much softer delivery, softer approach for the Eagles there. But even so, I think Shields very, very good. And he has what I think is an interesting perspective on what we learned about the Cowboys. And I'm just going to read from this really quickly, and then we'll kind of react to it and discuss it. But he says they overreacted to the playoff loss. He says that the Cowboys were a very good team last year. Obviously, back-to-back years of 12-5. Plus 125-point differential, third in the NFC behind only the Eagles and the 49ers. Should be a good team again this season. They made sensible trades with Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore. Didn't overreact to Dalton Schultz's market. Finally moved on from Ezekiel Elliott. Starts off with a lot of praise there. But he says the biggest change is going to be their offensive play calling. The Cowboys let Kellen Moore go, and head coach Mike McCarthy is now running the show. McCarthy indicated this offseason that he thinks the Cowboys can benefit from a more run-heavy approach that limits turnovers and puts games in the hands of his defense. McCarthy's comments demonstrated a fundamental misunderstanding of what is actually wrong with the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh. I'm going to let them keep going, and then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on this article. Now, this is not their opinion so far. This is an article that they are reading from, and then we're going to give you guys the analysis of it, but go ahead.
Were turnovers an issue in 2022? At times, yes, but overall, not really. Cowboys turned the ball over on 10.8% of their possessions, which was slightly lower than the league average. Dak Prescott was intercepted on 3.8% of his passes, which was the worst mark among starters. Not all of his interceptions were his fault, though, and interceptions were not an issue for Prescott previously in his career. From 2019 to 2021, Prescott had the 9th lowest interception rate in the NFL. The bottom line, it's hard to envision a scenario where the move from Moore to McCarthy offers an upgrade.
All right, so here's my thoughts on this. I really appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. The interception thing, we all get it. We all understand what happened. Those who really understand football, we understand. You had a quarterback, and I know it's going to sound like bevies of excuses, but let those people make their minds up and let them go ahead and do their thing, because those convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. We all know that Dak Prescott is not a high turnover guy, especially as throwing the ball. And, of course, people going to go back and say, well, what about the fumbles, man? Did he lose them, though? You know, but that's a whole nother story. But I understand the angle of the 4-ladder to 3-ladder network. The Dak Prescott is a high turnover guy is the equivalent of the same people that was yelling, hey, man, Trayvon Diggs give up a lot of yards, right? You see, you notice last season, not a soul was talking about Trayvon Diggs giving up a lot of yards anymore, right? And those same people dismiss the fact that he had all of those interceptions. I'm talking about Trayvon Diggs, right? So you get that analysis from the 4-letter to 5-letter network, and not one person said, hey, man, did you realize the dude broke his thumb on his throwing hand? And could that be a situation and scenario? Did you realize that they took 14 touchdowns away from him, over 1,400 yards production, passer rating when targeted was 122, and that's for Amari, right, Cooper, as well as the other guy, Cedric Wilson. So, of course, you didn't replenish, you didn't replace that aspect of the team. So you rolled out a Noah Brown, and you rolled out a guy that had an injury that he was recovering from, that you rushed him, and his name was Michael Gallup. But what people would do is those who don't really dive into the football tape and understand that, hey, just because you replace this with that and it wasn't equal, that you're going to have the diminishing rates of return. But here's the thing. And there will be people that will say, like Daz says, whoa, the excuses. Well, what would be the excuses for Josh Allen? He had the same amount of interception. Of course, he didn't miss 5 games, but dog it, he had 15 to 16 interceptions last season. Healthy. So contextualize that, right? And on top of that, I didn't hear a Cowboy wide receiver calling out their quarterback after the game. But I do hear Joshua Allen, wide receiver, calling him out. But that's a story of another day, right? So when we start to look at everything and say, all right, cool, are you having the audacity to compare Dak Prescott to Josh Allen? Well, yes. Because if it was a situation that every year Dak Prescott threw for 15 to 20 interceptions, that's a problem. That's a flat-out problem. But he do 1 year and now, oh, that's who he is, right? Now, any other quarterback, even dating back to their first starts, after a good season, they'll say, hey, that is a real good quarterback. But it's strange to me that when we have a good season, it goes like, hey, prove it again. Let's see if he can do it again. But on the flip side, you have another quarterback from another organization have one good season. That's who they are. Hence, Jalen Hurts. That's who he is. He's MVP Hurts. Oh, he's the top one. He's a tier 1 quarterback. Based off of what? Oh, the 1 year. Based off of what analysis? Oh, he went to the Super Bowl. Hell, Rex Grossman took his team to the Super Bowl. So do that automatically place him to the doggone number 1 quarterback in the National Football League out of that conference? He had the same amount of touchdowns, same amount of yards. Now, granted, that year the Chicago Bears were 13-3, you know what I mean? But it goes to show you that people will find their argument and they will rest on it and they will say, hey, this is who he is because he went to the Super Bowl. Well, if that's the case, Rex Grossman, he went to the Super Bowl, right? Come on, y'all. But I get it. I understand it. Now, granted, the other part of it is I truly believe that Kellen Moore is a brilliant guy. He is smart. We can see that the man can craft together some nice collections of plays. But just because, and I'm saying this the best way I can, that don't mean that just because you can get a collections of plays that you are great at what you do. And we have seen this over and over again, that when it's dropping 6, when it's dropping 7 in coverage, we all know you run in that, right? You don't throw into it, you run into it. And we have not been a team, hear me out, that since we can go all the way back to 07, 08. When have we ever schemed a victory? When have we ever used our strengths against the opposing team? When have we even had flaws and weaknesses, right? And we were able to mask over it by doing other things because we had scheme play. Let this play out.
In 4 years with Moore, if we isolate the plays where Prescott was the quarterback, the Cowboys performed like the second best offense in the NFL in terms of EPA per play. Did the offense look bad in the playoff loss to the 49ers? No doubt. But that was one game on the road against the best defense in the NFL. Ideally, the Cowboys would have examined what went wrong in that game, made some tweaks, and moved forward. Instead, they made a big change that could result in a step back in 2023. And I got to say, reading this, the first person I thought of was Ralph James Choppy.
Oh, really?
Because this sounds like an RJ Choppy type of argument. Like, do not overreact to one game. Mm-hmm. In the grand scheme of things, it's easy to be bitter, and you know, when you're in it day to day, it's easy to rise and fall with the good and bad news about the Dallas Cowboys. But when you look at it from the 10,000-foot view, Kellen Moore was a good offensive coordinator who had a lot of success, and making this change was an overreaction.
No, that was the right reaction.
It was an overreaction, but it doesn't mean that it also wasn't the right move. Like, there's a solution and a problem. Like, was he the problem? That's the first thing I would ask myself. Is he the problem?
Kellen Moore?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The answer is no. It's like, okay, is he the solution? And if the answer is also no, then it's not an overreaction. It's a move to make a move.
Yeah, but this usually goes to your point of you don't look at San Francisco's style. Are they reacting too much to San Francisco's style in terms of building their regular season team?
Yes. So
that's the question.
Scheme, philosophy wins you game. Law, do you have any truths to that? Well, I can give you one right here. What if I told you guys, if you can beat the 49ers by being 15 of 25 for 121 yards? Is that good stats, ladies and gentlemen? 15 for 25, 121 yards. No touchdowns. And the average throw was 4.5 yards per throw. Give me a yes or no. If your quarterback was 15 for 25, 121 yards, and the average ball that was in the air was 4.5 yards per throw, and you only hit 15 out of 25 attempts, let me repeat, you only hit 15 out of 25 attempts. Is that good? The final score was 31-7. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the Niners 15 out of 25 attempts from their quarterback for 121 yards. Scheme won them the game, not the quarterback. But a lot of people will argue and say, well, that quarterback had to be elite to do that against the number 2 or the number 1 defense in the National Football League. No, you play to the strength of your team. If, and I'm using this word casually, if they ask that said quarterback to throw 25 to 40 times to win that game, they lose. You got to go back and watch the games, ladies and gentlemen. This game is simple but yet complex. It's not about, hey man, our quarterback got a golden arm. He can throw it all over the field. No. But the problem is when the Cowboys were winning like that, 15 out of 25 attempts, and the ratio was a little bit better, the pundits, the 4-letter, the 3-letter network say, this guy's just dinking and dunking. This guy can't hit this pass. This guy can't. No, you just win the game the best way possible. But when you try to win the media game, and if you try to win it the opposite way of how your team is structured, then you will find yourself forever trying to pin the tail on the donkey. Pin the tail on the donkey, you know. But it doesn't require for you to do all of that. Run the rock, play sound defense, and you can make it all the way to the Super Bowl and beyond. You can make it let me repeat, you can make it all the way to the Super Bowl and beyond. But people fail to realize it's the little things you do. It's not all of the bigger things. It's not all about throwing for 400 yards. There's not a Super Bowl won by Patrick Mahomes that he threw for 400 yards, ladies and gentlemen. And the last two Super Bowls that he won, his running backs did most of the work. Pat Mahomes getting paid $500 million. And he didn't have to throw the ball all over the field. He didn't ask to be doing the guy of, I'm got to sling this ball all over the field. Philosophy, scheme works, baby. Pat Mahomes, he was 21 for 27, 182 yards. Law, what happened to the 250? What happened to the 300 yards? He didn't need it, baby. They ran the rock. Matter of fact, they threw the ball 27 times, and they ran the rock 26 times. So many people fall into the love of, hey, let's throw this thing all over the field. Let's listen to more of what they have to say.
This is the problem that teams run into, right? So I'll just use this. I followed this guy as closely as anything, so this sticks into my head.
Oh, thank you.
When Peyton was on the Colts, all the other teams in the division tried to, oh, you know what? We have got to get a pass rusher.
Yeah.
Instead of, I don't know, finding a quarterback. So it's like you don't build your team to beat one team. That's a foolish way to do things.
True.
The Cowboys ran into a unique style that punished them. Mm-hmm. You didn't need to change your toughness or your roster or your style because of San Francisco. You unluckily faced them in back-to-back years of the playoffs. Like, what are the odds of that? What are the odds that you face the same team 2 years in a row in the postseason?
What are the odds that you face a team that rushed 4 and dropped 6 and 7 and said, okay, well, you know, if your quarterback going to beat us, then he's going to have to beat us real hard. But we're going to give you running. We're going to give you edge. We're going to give you opportunity to slide all over us and run the rock. Here's how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. When you have a mismatch, and it's basically in the mind, in the head, then you will see those type of things occurring over and over again. You will see those type of things being an issue because you don't know how to beat said team by just doing what you need to do. And that's running the rock. That's flat out beating a team based off they are allowing you to run. They only rushing 4. They dropping 6 and 7 defenders. And you're refusing to do it. And you're trying to beat them without a strategy, without a scheme, without a, hey, this is the procedure that we need to do in order to execute said plan. I need to manipulate, hear me out, ladies and gentlemen, the safety. I need for that safety to get down inside the box. How you can get him down inside the box? Run the rock. Run the ball. In that game, the Cowboys lost to the 49ers 12-19. Tony Pollard had 6 attempts. Of course, he was hurt. Zeke had 10. That wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. All right, let's listen to more what they have to say. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
I have an answer for all this. Number one, I think the bigger question is, are you overreacting to San Francisco? Are you overreacting to Dak's picks? Which I think the three of us agree was a little fluky. All right, his career, he had never thrown more than 13 picks. He did that in 16 games. Now he threw 15 picks in 12 games. The guy takes care of the football. He's taking care of the football. So are you overreacting to that? To me, the reason why this is the right move, McCarthy being more conservative, running the ball more, building up the defense, it's not because of Dak Prescott's turnover problems. It's because of Dak Prescott's playmaking ceiling. That is the reason why I have advocated against the other two in the room to go more Parcells, more old school, more backwards. Because Dak Prescott is not a special enough quarterback, consistently special enough. He is capable of special moments. There's no doubt about it. He's not consistently, I don't know. Is a Jalen Brunson comparison fair to Dak Prescott or insulting?
All right. I went over this analogy before, and we went over these talking points before, over and over and over again. Inconsistency don't develop consistency. Inconsistency develop more inconsistency. We talked about, shout out to my guy, Coach Marv. He said that this offense would be more efficient. You know, when you're inefficient, you have wasteful movements, wasteful productivity. You have all of those things. We even have in econ law of the Pareto efficiency levels. There's a Pareto efficiency level, right? That you got to maximize your eligibility to be proficient. But the only way that you can get there is by doing the thing that you said that you are proficient at again, over and over again. There's a reason why when you go into face against the Niners, you know what they're going to do. You know they're going to run to set up the pass. They're not finna air it out. That's not how they perform. That's not their efficient level. We know that even when you play against the Kansas City Chiefs, that they love to sprinkle their running backs. They're not going to have just one running back. They're going to have split backs. And from the psyche of their offensive coordinator, right, at the time, EB, he knew how to utilize his running backs either in the flats. He knew how to play off the running back to the tight end. That was their philosophy, and that was the efficient level. Now, granted, what blessed them beyond measures, they have a guy by the name of Pat Mahomes. He can make every throw, which is good. I can't discount that. And I don't want you guys to do that. But that is very beneficial to that team because when he's in a slump, and he will get into slumps. But the Mandela effect will have y'all thinking that he don't. He got an optimizable weapon by the name of Travis Kelce, who they play and feed off the running back to the tight end, but that come with schemes and concepts. There were 2 touchdowns that I can blindly pick anybody in the chat. William Barnett could have scored one of those touchdowns from the Kansas City Chiefs. Why? Because they knew how to maximize the efficient levels. I said this, and I can just pull this up right quick right now. The Dallas Cowboys, when we presented something just like this, 14 personnel, dial it back to go to 13 personnel, we saw it once. By the latter of the word efficient, this was an efficient play. This was an efficient series. But the inefficiency created the inconsistency by us not going back to what we did with this particular setup. How many times we would see something that the Cowboys can utilize with Dak Prescott for them to never return to these type of moments, to never return to these type of levels. We only did this one time, baby. We only did it once. One can argue, okay, we did it 1.5. We did a few of this in the Chicago game, and we did it in this game. And we never returned to using 13 personnel. We never returned to use 14 personnel. We never returned to utilize the actual tight ends to open up for the run. By letter of the law, how can you be consistent when you're not consistent and you're inconsistent with the play design and the play calls? It changed to week. It's equivalent to being an identity crisis, right? That's just what it is. He, she, them, they, they're going through identity crisis, right? I hope don't come after me, but that's what the world is going through. Some of the people, they don't know whether or not it's a he, she, them, they, there. I don't know. What they get mad, and now they are forcing schools and certain entities to say, "Hey, you better identify them as them or they." That's an identity crisis, Like how I supposed to know that it was them and not they or he or she? How I supposed to know? And that is exactly Cowboy Nation. Every single week, we didn't know if it's going to be them or they out there on the field. Oh, will it be she, he, him? And we don't know. So that was the problem with Kellen Moore. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least if we knew for sure that we was going to come in them, pause. If we knew for sure we going to play as them, then we would have been like, oh, okay, cool. That's just what it is. Them boys are out there. But next week, it'll be day boys. Come on, y'all. Oh, my gosh, man. We got some breaking news, man. According to the 4-letter, 3-letter network, they finally got law. Breaking news, Law Nation is now counseled by he, them, they, and them, and there,
I think
that's interesting.
I think it's fair. Jalen Brunson as the one, I don't believe is going to win you the title. But, man, he can be dangerous. 38 and 48 minutes last night. But Dak in a playoff run, I do not trust to get you to or win the Super Bowl. And that is why I wanted the Cowboys to build up the defense, build up the lines, and win in a more balanced way. It's not an overreaction, in my opinion, to San Francisco. It's Mike McCarthy and the team front office saying, we know he's not going to throw us to the title. He's not going to be the reason. He can be a reason. So let's build everything else up around him.
Shoo, if I was the builder over here, I would have been doing that since year one. I would have been doing that since year one. Look, you went 13-3, and you should have said, all right, cool. All right, it's been many a move since we went 13-3. Back in 2016, I would have been building around that philosophy and principle right then. I would have said, all right, cool. We got a quarterback that I know for sure we can get 13 up out of him, right? We got a dang on, for sure, good running back. Let's figure out ways to sprinkle more and more around that. But the Cowboys did the exact opposite. They started listening to the 4-letter, the 3-letter network. They started listening to the people that said Dink and Dak. Shout out to Colin Cowherd. May he lean forward just right quick. Let him. Yeah, right there, dog. You finna get hit. Yeah. Yeah. I need to get that button. I need to hit the slap and then the eye. Yeah. But y'all get it. He coined the word Dink and Dak. But I've literally seen a quarterback, and I'm not saying that he is Dak or Dak is he or him or them. Tom Brady, we've seen Tom Brady would dink and dunk it all the way down the field. He would hit he always had a scat back, a James White or a Burkhardt or somebody. He would always have that little scat back in the backfield. He would, yeah. Defense would get a good turnover, right? Yeah. Down the field. And that brother done lifted up. Well, how many Super Bowls he got? 7, 6 or 7. How many Super Bowls that dude got? Tom Brady got 7 Super Bowls. Dinking and Tomming down the field, right? but that coin and that phrase was never uttered. You know what I'm saying? Because they would say they marveled at the ability to win the game. Joe Montana was the same way, though. So I'm just saying, look, don't fall in love with the idea, can your quarterback throw for 300 yards? Can your quarterback throw for 400 yards? Y'all remember that argument? But, Lord, can a quarterback throw for 300 yards? Like, be happy we won the doggone game. Don't listen to that network. Leave for it. They used to always, hey, but the Cowboys won. But dog it, by gosh, by golly, can he throw for 300 yards? Man, dog, we won the game. Ask the Eagles fans right now. Their quarterback versus the Niners, 15 of 25 for 150-something yards or less, whatever that number was. Would you take that? Or you take the 400 yards, right? With the loss, Let me ask the Eagle fans, too, since y'all in the chat. I see y'all in the chat. They flying, holler, let them fly, let them fly, let them fly. Would you take the Pat Mahomes numbers in the Super Bowl? What did he throw for like right at 200 yards? Didn't even hit 300, Or would you take what your quarterback done? You know what I'm saying? In the Super Bowl. No, you would take the Pat Mahomes stats. Give me them Pat Mahomes stats with the win. You know what I'm saying? That's what you guys would say. So what is happening here is that so many people, let me get those exact numbers. You know what I'm saying? Let me see them exact numbers. Oh, yeah, he didn't throw for 300 yards. Would you take 182 yards with a Super Bowl win? Or would you take hey, man, my quarterback threw 304 yards? No, you would take the 182. You would take the 182 all day. And you will be flying around here talking about, the Eagles got their second Super Bowl. And let us talk about, hey, man, he didn't throw for 300 yards, right? So what happened is that down the way, the validation of a good quarterback was like, hey, can he throw for 300 yards? Can he throw for 400 yards? That is exactly what happened with the Cowboys. They did it such to a degree that they sullied and denigrated Ezekiel Elliott. They said, yeah, he all right, but can he do it without the offensive line? Like, dog, man, what kind of argument that is? But that will be going on in the 4-letter, 3-letter. Hey, man, yeah, Zeke is good, but can he do it without the offensive line? Bull sugar. Hey, nobody's saying that about the Eagles right now. Hey, man, they went 14-3, but can they do it without the offensive line? Or whatever their record was, or whatever they did, Yeah, Dak is good, man, but can he do it without Dez? Or can he do it without the wide receiver? Can we go receiver by committee and get it done out of that way? Come on, man. Oh, they 3-5. Oh man. Let's just cancel everything. But we got one reprieve of hope. Oh, let's give him Amari Cooper. They go to the playoff. Well, do it again. I'm like, bull sugar. You should have paid that man after that season. They was 3-5. You gave him weapons. You made it to the playoff game. Matter of fact, you won a freaking playoff game. To the guy that you compared him to, that you said that was his ceiling. Oh, the guy was Russell Wilson. Did they look? Y'all re-jog my mind and my memory. Did we beat the Seattle Seahawks that year? I need to know. Did we beat them? And didn't everybody say that? Hey, Dak Prescott, at that time, a poor man, Russell Wilson. We beat the Seattle Seahawks that year. And then the next season, well, let's prove it again, Yeah, dog. How much do you need to say? You could have walked off before he made it to that playoff and said, you know what, we're going to go ahead and read that up. Don't you think that's what the Eagles did, right? They said, shoot, let me go ahead and pay Carson Wentz. Let me go ahead and pay Jared Goff for the, at that time, the Rams, right? They didn't fool around and wait, and the price of the bag went up. So when they said after the 9-8 season, talking about the Eagles, I'm just going to talk about y'all a little bit more. After the 9-8 season, they said, well, dog, get They made it to the playoffs. Let's put more and more weapons around said quarterback, and let's see what he can do. Oh, he won 5 more games. Right? 5 more games. Put more and more weapons around him. Five more games. And before Burrows, and before, who else needed to get paid? Lamar Jackson. Before, who else needed to get paid? What's the guy that everybody hyping up? Herbert. Before Herb, let's go ahead and pay this man. Y'all think that Herb and Burrows is going to get paid less than what Lamar just got and what Hurt just got? Shoot. Let's go ahead and pay that man.
I'm glad that we got to bring this up, by the way, because, and I know it's something we discussed a couple months ago, but it allows me, Sean, to reference something you've had in your prep email for about 4 months now.
the Cowboys offense
The
stuff.
offensive numbers, which were the numbers that we researched right after the changeover, but it's good to have it right here in front of me. So thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
That ended up.
Wait a minute. Wait. You said Jared Goff owns Dallas. Didn't we play Jared Goff last year? Who won that game? Who won that game? Y'all let me know. If he owns them, then he didn't own us that day. Did we play them last year? Wasn't Goff out there? Did they slap him? Didn't Diggs pick him off? Yeah. What kind of ownership that is? You know what I'm saying? Might want to retract that one,
Out paying off here. In 12 years as the play caller in Green Bay, McCarthy's offense is ranked top 5 in points 7 times out of 12. They ranked top 10 in yards 9 times. They were top 10 in turnover differential 6 times. They were top 3 in point differential 5 times. So a lot of success. In fact, the year where he didn't call plays for most of the year, I think he took over at the very end in 2015. These were their ranks. 15th in points, 23 in yards, 10th in turnover differential, 11th in points differential, 19th in yards differential. For comparison, while Kellen Moore was here, they finished in the top 10 in point differential 3 out of his 4 years as offensive coordinator. They finished first in, or actually it was just raw points. Point differential, they finished same, top 10 3 times. Yards, they finished first in the NFL twice, and then they finished 11th and 14th. 14th was the year where Dak was out for most of the year, which I still think is a miracle. You finished 17th in points and 14th in yards that year that Dak went down is stunning with what they had around him. But generally, these resumes look somewhat similar in terms of being at the top of the league. Now, they do things very differently. And
all right, before he goes into that detail, I think that Justin Herbert, he's going to throw for another 5,000 yards for the Chargers. He's going to throw for another 5,000 yards. I think he's going to be, based off of even just glimpsing at Kellen Moore's scheme and system for what he do. More so system, not scheme. He's going to throw for 5,000 yards. I don't see Herb throwing for 3,000 or low end 4,000. If healthy, he's going to throw for 5,000. And he should finish. Top, let's say, with those type of productions, and he should finish top 3, top 5 in offense. There's no doubt in my mind that when you look at Kellen Moore's system, that is high volume. It's high volume. I think that numbers could be obscured in a way, whereas you start looking at it and saying, okay, but is it efficient? Is it efficient? Because if you're looking at it from the outside in, you'll say, yeah, man, those numbers are nice, man. Those numbers are nice. But are you demoralizing a team? Are you making a team play who's naturally right-handed? Are you making them play left-handed? Are you allowing that team to sit back and say, dang, they got to stand up and sit up all night to stop what you're doing in a pinch if they really want to win, right? One of the fastest birds out there, the hummingbird. I don't think that any bird on this plane or this dimension flaps their wing as fast as a hummingbird. One can argue, I think there's a saying, if you see a hummingbird, I think it's good luck when you see them, right? And then they go. But are they efficient enough? Are they efficient enough to be the best bird? Now, I know the Eagles finna say, yeah, man, I told you, man, the Eagles the best bird out there, right? But it's not the angle that I'm going at. In order for a hummingbird to utilize that type of strength and speed to fly, they got to intake a lot of calories. They got to have a lot of nutrients. And in order for Kellen Moore to sustain, that particular offense is going to take a lot of production, a lot of work. And it makes the team uneven. The Chargers, and I'm not trying to make this Charger talk, and I'm going to get off of it, were ranked 30th in running the ball last year. You think that number finna get better? Come on, y'all. Come on. Kellen doesn't have a system. He have empty yards. This is from my guy, Glenn Capers. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Yeah, to what we were saying with that. So what I'm trying to say here is that I would rather win by philosophy and scheme juxtaposed to winning by, hey, I'm going to put it all on one player and we're going to hope for the best that this wide receiver on an option route, that he can nose the ball, he can catch the ball. He can sit in the zone, right? We're going to go 4 wide, empty, right? And we are trusting the wide receiver to be on the same page as the quarterback. Yeah, you might get away with him. 1 game, 2 game, 3 game, 4 game. But when it start getting deep down into the systems and you start, or into the season, that's what I meant to say. You just say, shoot, that's all they're going to do is sit right there. I might as well have my DBs drop, hit right there, and we'll play the tendencies. 9 times out of 10, this ball going to be right here. And it's going to be on the inside shoulder or the outside shoulder. I'm jumping it. And I'm fighting for the ball. It's pick time, baby. Herb, and this is from my guy Corey, says Herb also threw more interception when the DB started sitting on those routes. And that was before Kellen got there. So, yeah, I remember seeing that. I think that Herb was a guy that threw some INTs. He had some pick sixes or what have you. I think it was the game against the Chiefs. I mean, he single-handedly lost that one, you know. But it is what it is. Let's go and listen to more of what they have to say.
I think it's important to point out. I was going to say point.
Very important.
It's important. It's important.
Payne, I'll give you $100 if you tell me what that reference is.
Okay, it's a movie.
Sort of.
Oh, no.
Is it 90s?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the movie was in the 90s.
All right, that's it.
Hang on,
it expired.
The movie could have been in the 90s, yeah.
All right.
If you think he's warm, then I'll give you.
He's not warm.
Let's try my best.
The Three Stooges.
Yeah, the movie, because the Three Stooges movie was like 90s.
What was the word? What was the word you just said?
Important.
Important.
I was trying to say important to point out. It's important to point out that, yeah, pick 2. It's important to.
Oh, yeah. So 4,749 yards. Herb might throw for 5,000 yards. That's what I meant to say. So, yeah, 4,000. Let me see what he did for 2021. Yeah. So he threw for 5,000 yards in 2021. He going to get back to that number if he play all of the season, if he stay healthy. 2020, that was his rookie year, 4,333 yards, 34 yards, and he hit 5,000 yards in 2021. Yeah. He's gonna throw for 5,000 yards this year. I think Tom Brady had the most yards last season. Let me see. Was I right on that? Let me see. Tom Brady, as a guy who was 45 years of age. Let's see how many yards. Did he throw for 5,000 yards? Okay, he was third. Who had the most yards last year? Y'all help me out. I thought it was Tom. I'm off. Maybe that was 2021. He threw for 5,316 yards. Yeah. So, yeah. So that's even impressive for that man at that age in 2021, to be fair. Who was that guy Mahomes? Was it? Yeah, it was Mahomes, huh? Mahomes. Mahomes. Let's see what he threw. Yeah, he threw 5,000 yards. Yeah, 5,251 yards. 647 attempts. Yeah, so put him in third. 41 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. That dude was a monster, To
point out that.
So it was Mahomes, Herbs, Tom, right? So that let you know them some doggone guys slinging that ball all over the field, right? Keep up the good work. Appreciate you, Paul. Thank you, man. Appreciate you for your support. He's going to throw for north of 4,500 yards. Yes, indeed, C. Clark. Presley, I'm not a Dak hater, but he got to do better. No more pointing fingers at everyone but Dak. Don't shank me with the butter knife. Oh,
Fatality.
I agree. I flat out agree. What I've been saying about Dak Prescott, and I appreciate you for your support, Presley, is that it's two ways down that road to success. It's a two-way street. The quarterback relations to the offensive coordinator on the offensive side, but of course, offense versus defense, of course. And you got to use within reasons. We've seen, I get it on that other interception. When I think I talked about this on many of levels, that interception that Dak Prescott threw to my guy Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup got mad at me about that route or what have you, hit me up or what have you. Shout out to Michael Gallup. Shout out to what he do. Right? But you can't allow someone to cross your face, right? You're supposed to come back to the ball. And we had seen multiple people express the same thing, so not everybody lying. But that other interception to where Lamb was in the middle of the field on, what was it, second and 10, ball at the 20. They went empty. At some point, Dak Prescott should have said, look, coach, it's bullsugar play. 2nd and 2, I meant to say. Inside the 20. They gave you the middle of the field, just get the first down and live to fight another day. Dak Prescott threw that ball, and of course we can point fingers all day at who did what, but at some point Dak would have to look at that play and say, man, this coach out of his god doggone mind. I'm going high percentage. I'm leaving with the minimum of 3 points off of this situation. I'm starting to play mind game, point game. Get what you can. Just like when we play, spade, get your book, man. Don't play around with it. Don't cut your own partner out of your book. Get your book. Or when you're playing dominoes, they say all money ain't good money, but get some money. Don't be trying to hold and get the 25. You're going to get your 10 and move on. You trying to get 25, you got all the big bones in your hand, and now the board lock. Get your money. Don't leave money out there on the streets. Get your money. Get your first down. That's what I would, that's what Dak need to do more of. It ain't all about risking it and going for the juggler all the time. Understand that you got a good defense, you got a stingy defense, and play within those type of parameters. And dog it, if this particular coaching staff don't know how to elevate that part of it and sit there and tell Dak Prescott, hey, we don't need for you to sling that ball all over the field. This is an ultimate team sport, ladies and gentlemen. It goes all the way back to what I said about that Super Bowl. Kadarius Toney, the new guy for the Chiefs, Didn't he took it all the way to the crib almost? Down at the 10, down at the over there. One can argue if he didn't do that, they probably don't even win that game. But also, when you're that close, score some points. Mahomes is on Mahomes. So when we get guys to take us all the way down there, score some points, Dak. Don't give it back to the opposition. Those are the things. Yeah, yes, indeed. Man, Christopher, you said a good one. It's dink and Dak time. Shoot, yeah. I'll Dak and dink that thing all the way in. Pause. But y'all get what I'm saying. When Mahomes threw that touchdown, he didn't go, hey, let's go for a 60-yard. Shoot, they did a disguise play where, shoot, it could have been me out there. Y'all been like, look at that law guy, man. He running it all in. The beard under the helmet. Man, that dude go hard. I would have been doing all type of dance. You know what I'm saying? I would have been doing some type of TikTok dance on them Eagles. Yes, indeed.
So stupid.
Sheil Kapadia argues that this is an overreaction, moving on from Kellen Moore, yada, yada, yada. As Jane talked about last week, as we've talked about here on the show, as I've mentioned several times, the driving force for Kellen Moore's departure was Kellen Moore going in there and saying, I'm done. Kellen Moore wanted a new start.
Yeah.
Well, good for him.
And now what you could say is the blame game, the way things were handled, some of their overreactions to it potentially drove him to a point where he was like, I'd rather be somewhere else. But the fact of the matter is,
I heard he was fed up with McCarthy. I heard McCarthy kind of ticked him off with a final press conference of the year, and Kellen was ticked. That's what I heard.
Yeah, the issue
from reliable people.
Is that
Well, God dog, but at least somebody is mad enough. Shoot. Look, when Mike McCarthy said after week 1, said we got to get smarter football play out of you, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to be smarter. That should have been the green light there. Or that should have been like, oh, okay, all right, hey. And here's my thing. When things are forced, ladies and gentlemen, it never works out, you know? When you forcing things, we know that wasn't a disciple, you know, of Mike McCarthy's. That wasn't the same philosophy. It was oil and water, man. Come on, y'all. We know. Come on. You try to force that relationship. It didn't work out. I would have loved it more if Kellen Moore would have said, you know what? Hey, I feel you, Big Mike. This would be a good run for us. But let me, find my home somewhere else. This ain't right, man. You it's oil and water, man. It's not mixing right. I mean, you come from a West Coast principal, and I come from this Jason Garrett scheme / Scott Linehan. Let me just find my peace elsewhere, Killing be enemy. But when you force it, Jerry Jones, right? John Stephen Jones, this is what the outcome presents itself. And it's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Law, do you have any truth to that? Hire Wade Phillips and said, I got my boy over here, Jason Garrett. He's the future. Big Wade was sitting there like, man, good that he was beta a little bit. All right, Jerry, he just went on with the program, right? Until all of a sudden plays were being held back, right? This dude then literally, go watch. Let me know when Wade was here, where was his defense ranked? It wasn't 20th ranked defense. This wasn't the 15th ranked defense. This was a top 10 defense, ladies and gentlemen. Wade had only one losing season. The players started turning on him because when you have a house divided, people going to start picking sides. And then all of a sudden, Big Wade left. Now the offense wake up. I'm sitting there like, come on, man. And then you went and got other pieces that were not successful, thinking that you're going to get success out of things that you didn't get. Oh, man, I'm talking too much.
That much like in the Brady-Belichick breakup, Kellen Moore is easily going to win this. He went to the team that had the best quarterback with an opening at the time. Now, Mahomes finally had an opening with Bieniemy, but
that's Andy Reid's offense.
But the Cowboys are going to have a better record than the Chargers, most likely.
I would think so, but the Chargers' offense is going to be better than the Cowboys.
That's very possible.
I mean, at least they've got like Justin Herbert. Most people think he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. They've got a tier 1 guy.
Yeah,
he's coaching
a stud,
a borderline elite quarterback. You know, we don't know. I mean, he does.
I think he's elite.
There's things he's got to do. I mean, he's got to sooner or later he's got to win some games. But like he's pretty elite.
I think that.
Well, how many winning seasons the Chargers had, right? 1, right? They made it to the playoff. How many playoff games they won? Okay, none, right? But he's elite. He's going into this is 4th year, right? So, yes, sir. Chargers should be a team that go back to the playoffs, and they should win a playoff game this year. Elite Herbert should. Look, like I said, when Russell Wilson went to the Denver, they better be in the Super Bowl, according to how these guys are saying. But here's the thing, and have y'all noticed, never mention garbage time stats, never mention of, hey, those teams that Herb played was levels of competition. It was always mentioned that, hey, this guy got a cannon for an arm, he's young, he's experienced, he just need X, Y, and Z. Don't you guys know, since year 1, he came in, I'm talking about the Chargers, with a Keenan Allen, with a Mike Williams, right? With Austin Eckler. Now that they're in the short hairs with him, whether or not he's going to play there or not. I don't think he is, right? Whereas this dude can walk into a situation unscathed with any scrutiny, with any levels of criticism. Why? Who's the greatest quarterback? Well, I ain't going to say who's the greatest quarterback from the Chargers because they go all the way back. But their media, it's not like 50 people in there saying, hey, man, what about this one? Hey, man, don't y'all know? Yes, we lost in the playoff game, but we won at least one. But don't y'all know the criticism the Cowboys would have received if we were up? How many points? Well, they were up 26, 27 points in the playoff game because I know the Jags beat us, while we was up. But don't you know the levels of criticism that we would have been receiving all year round, all year long? Man, until the cows come back home, right? And I'm talking about the one that jumped over the moon. They would have still been talking about that, but nobody mentioned how the Chargers lost the playoff game this year, or last season, basically. Jesse says overreacting to the 49ers is bogus. I agree. We were knocked the heck out in SF and stopping the run. The Packers ran the ball down our throats. We adjusted. We just adjusted. Yes. Oh my God, Dan Fouts. That's the only quarterback. Well, I got to give Drew Brees his coins too, right? Drew Brees was there for a cup of coffee and they ran him out. But no, not Drew. But Drew was good, and then they drafted a quarterback in the second round. What was he, first round or second? Dan Fouts. Let me just go ahead and say this: Dan Fouts and Phillip Rivers. That's the only legacy that the Chargers got over there. I think that Justin Herbert can eclipse that, but maybe it'll be a little harder to eclipse Dan Fouts, though. But you guys give it what I'm saying. 27 point, yeah. I mean, there would have been T-shirts, there would have been cross burnings, there would have been all type of stuff out here if the Cowboys had a 27-0 lead in the playoff. And you know what I'm saying? It don't matter what year it was for Dak Prescott. Y'all still raking Dak Prescott over the coals what he did in 2016 against the Green Bay Packers. Y'all still raking Dak Prescott over the coals of what he did in 2018. Was that year 3 for him? What year is this for? Dare I say Justin Herb, you know? Come on, y'all. People forget all about that amnesia just kick in and like, nah. You know, people fail to realize that our team get the hit of criticism regardless.
That as a defense for McCarthy, as a defense for the Cowboys approach.
Lamar, RJ attacks Lamar and you defend Mike?
Is that, and this is something that I think we've discussed, you could not go back into, you cannot go back into this season running things the same way. It had to be one person's vision. If it was going to be this hodgepodge again of Kellen and Mike and these different concepts, that was not going to work. You needed to commit to, this is Kellen's scheme. If you wanted Mike to have a bigger voice in the offense, if that's what the Joneses wanted, hey, Mike, we want you to have a bigger voice. We want you to be involved in this offense. Then you needed to commit to Mike as your offensive coordinator.
No. What should the Cowboys do is stop being fugazi with it. I hope I can say that. I hope I'm using that term right. But the Cowboys need to be more stern with their decisions, right? It's like we would have been mad about it, but it's the Cowboys organization and franchise. They could have literally said, you know what? We believe in Kellen Moore. He's our head coach. The ratings would have been the same. The viewership would have been the same. The tickets sold would have been the same. Stand on it. If the Cowboys, I kid you guys not, I probably look at it from this perspective, even back in 2007. If the Cowboys, like Queen said, just let them hang. If the Cowboys would have said, you know what, Jason Garrett, our head coach, we have a feeling that he's going to be the guy, and Wade Phillips would have been a defensive coordinator. He's our defensive coordinator. But what about Wade Phillips? Nope, he's getting paid head coach money. If they would just flip it and bend the inverse, don't y'all know that during their stretch of time, hear me out, put that butter knife down. When we got rid of Wade, we've been looking for defensive coordinator. We brought in one of the Ryan boys. I've got which one it was, Rob or Rex. Then we brought in Monty Kiffin. We brought in the old guy, Monty Kiffin, whatever his name was, the son or the granddad, whatever his name was. And then we went even older and went and got Papa Rob Marinelli. If the Cowboys said, you know what, Jason Garrett is our head coach, Wade Phillips is our defensive coordinator, shoot, I think since Wade Phillips left, he's been to 2 Super Bowls, probably won 2 of them, 2 or 3 Super Bowls, We wouldn't even have to be dealing with, hey, man, his defense is one of the worst in the league. Let me know if I'm wrong. That Ryan defense was terrible. It seemed like if he was working for, it seemed like he was working for the Eagles, right? My dad used to coach the Eagles, Yes, indeed. If you just stand on it, right? That's all that needed to be done, Yes, indeed. See, people, Paul, remember, defensive trash out the Wade, right? Wade had his defense humming, even though some of, Bill Parcells' philosophy and schemes and stuff. But, man, come on. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, my gosh, man. Appreciate you. Jay Worthy says, if Herbert is elite, then Dak is elite-er, Yes, indeed, man. Wade won the Super Bowl. See, woo. See, there it was right there. Tony, Romo. We had our Super Bowl chance right there. All we had to do was just flip some things around. Tony, if you still awake right now, read Trev comment. He says, ladies and gentlemen, Wade won the Super Bowl with the Broncos in 2015. and with the Rams in 2021 as the DC. Yep. So he was very successful after he done left the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, they took that man. Because, come on, man, we know, hey, shout out to Wade. He got an opportunity. He's just a brilliant guy, but he just wasn't. I'm not trying to put him in a box, and we can say the same about Jason Garrett. But one thing we know for sure, that boy can coach some defense, man. Or that grown man, you know, when the people say, hey, man, Law, you calling Wade Phillips a boy, you know, but that grown man can coach some defense. He can coach some defense. That's all he needed to focus on, just defense. And we was there, but you undermined the man and said, hey, man, we going to give you the salary, yo. And we going to give this guy the same salary you getting, but he's going to be the offensive coordinator, you know. All right, man, let's listen to more of this.
Because the concepts of the Air Coryell versus the West Coast system, there were going to be too many contradictions within them, and it caused too many issues, and I think you saw that. And so if they want him to have a bigger voice, then what they're saying is, we want you to run the offense. Whether they realize that or not, that's what they're asking.
Yeah, that was good. That's a good excerpt by my guy. Good excerpt. For more details of that video, click that link right there, ladies and gentlemen, and then you can listen to the full interview without me pausing and rewinding. The Titans stole one from Wade, too. Yep, I feel you, man. Yes, indeed.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
But what we like to do now is to open up that phone line. He's in the XFL now? Ooh. What a fall from grace, huh? So shout out to Wade. Hotline for your mind. Kool-Aid time, too. Y'all check it out. Keep it super thug my way on this side. Keep it super thug my way on this side. Mobbing with my brothers, there's no question, keep it real. Whether we East coasting or we in the hidden hills. In the popping straps of blue faces, not the pills. Heard you calling bluffs, I show and prove it, it's for real. Son of God, not a son of Sam. Keep it off the books and keep it coming in. Bitch, the old whip, see what I'm coming in. The inside caramel just like 100 grand. Call my phone, hit my line. Only ones who down for real, down for life. Keep it super thug my way on this side. Keep it super thug my way on this side. Call my phone, hit my line. Only ones who down for real, down for life. Keep it super thug my way on this side. Keep it super thug my way on this side. Heard you moving funny, had to cut you off. Had some more friends like my brothers, I can't trust it all. Same ones in your corner wanna see you fall. Now I only need a hand to count the ones who ball with me. Down to fall with me. Down to put it on the line when lose a draw with me. Those my brothers, different mothers, part of par with me. Got the Bonnie to my class, she break the law with me. From the 214, you're live, Darius, you're live.
Law, what's happening? First of all, I want to say, I remember you was talking about Isaiah Simmons. For the longest, I had been trying to get your opinion about my dog Isaiah Simmons. He is like a Dan Quinn 2.0 guy. So when you said Isaiah Simmons, I'm like, oh my gosh, me and Law, we on the same page with Isaiah Simmons. I think he would work wonders for this team. Absolutely. So I'm glad to see that we on the same page with that.
Oh yeah. He would fit well. They didn't re-up his 5th-year option, so they may be moving on from him if he don't show up this year. And we will see him week 3, I believe. The schedule piece of that schedule, we play the Cards week 3. So yeah, can't wait to see him.
My question to you is, what would constitute as a good season for you, Law?
Well, a good season would be going to the playoffs again, right? A great season would be winning a playoff game, multiple playoff games, and an elite season would be going all the way to the Super Bowl, right? So that's how I break it down. You know, so good to great to elite, and I don't want to be a good season. I want us to be beyond great.
Oh, okay. And so if we went 12-5 and we was either one and done in the playoffs, or we only won one playoff game, would that be a good season? Like this year, like if we went 12-5 again, but we were either one and done or only won one playoff game, would you consider that as a good season?
They'll fall under the category, man. The Cowboys had a good season, man. They went 12-5, but they only won one playoff game. It'll fall under that category. I'll be pissed off too. By the way, I'll be pissed off if we get all the way to the Super Bowl and not win it. So, but I will be looking at it like, how did we lose? What was the nature of how we lost? And within those confines of those reasonings, like for example, I forgot whether or not this was in the playoff game or a game to go to the playoff. You remember the Saints that year? It was like it was a PI, but they didn't call the PI.
Minnesota Vikings.
It was the Vikings
game.
The playoff game. Yep. Like, did the Saints had a good season that year, or were they hold? You know what I'm saying? How do you contextualize that though? So I look at it from that aspect too. It's kind of hard, man, to look at this team and say that 2014 wasn't a good year, right? Or wasn't even a great year, because we won a playoff game that year. We beat the Lions, but then we got a hose in the second game. And we can layer it down and say, well, Romo should have hit Cole Beasley underneath, or shoot, DeMarco Murray shouldn't have fumbled the ball, But now when we look at it, that's almost over 10 years ago now, See how fast life moves? It's crazy, huh?
That's crazy. That is crazy as hell. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. I remember that game like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
But my thing was, or is, if we went 12-5 for 8 years straight and never made it to NFC championship playoff game, that's not good for me.
Eight years straight. I think the law of averages, man, will settle in, and once you're in the playoff for those many times, 8 years straight, you just know more than the other opposing teams. It's just how it goes. I mean, you eventually crack one open and get into the playoffs. Get into the Super Bowl. Think about this. The pathway for the Eagles. They just who all they beat? The Niners and the Giants and the Niners, right?
Giants and the Niners, yep.
I mean, that's a blessing, man. To play the Giants, you there's a familiar opponent, right? Knock them off, and then the 49ers come in, battered and bruised because they just played the doggone Cowboys, right? And then so they're battered and bruised, and then they fool around and had their quarterback to get knocked out of the game. So the law of averages, experience goes a long way. So 8 times back to back and back to back in the playoffs, shoot, some good things will happen.
What I'm saying is that they just did that, but they did that 8 years straight, but they only won one playoff game, or they was one and done, and they never made it to the NFC Championship game. That wouldn't cut it for me,
right?
Because it's like you're performing below your potential. That like you are hiding within just being good. Just being good ain't good enough. Me personally, it's like I would rather us go 9-8 and go all the way to the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, rather than be 12-5 and be one and done, or 12-5 and only win one playoff game. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just like it's just like you law.
Yeah. But I get what you're saying, but it's gonna be hard to go 9-8. To if you're 12-5, you're just 12-5, right? It's just how it goes. But go ahead.
Well, what I'm saying is, take for instance you, Law. You have I see this in you. You have the potential to have at least 1 million subscribers. Like you the best in the game. So if you just stay right here at 100K, that's below your potential. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not just good. It's not just good for you to. I don't know if I'm coming off wrong, but I see,
I feel you.
You the best. You're the best in the game. Law Nation in the near future will have over 1 million subscribers. I'm telling you that right now. No cap. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like. So what I'm saying is, overall, personally, I'm a very harsh critic on my team,
right?
Because I know the potential that this team has. To be honest with you, Law, and this is no cap, we should have beat the 49ers both times we played them. those last two playoff games. We should have beat them. We built for it. You see, like we should have beat that first time and this last time. When I sit there and I watch that game, I'm like, bro, come on now. We gave the 49ers the hardest fight out of damn near everybody. We should have knocked them off.
Let me tell you this though, and I feel what you're saying, and I get where you're going. But let's say, for example, a team that is successful, like the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
3 out of the 5 years they made it to the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
The 2 times that they didn't make it, they lost in overtime in the championship game over there. So they can literally argue to say that they could have won more. But even within the confines of them having one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League, they themselves have to do inventory. They themselves have to regroup, stop, I guess, smelling the roses and say, okay, where do they need to get better at? Offensive line, right? They know for sure that the time that they were in the Super Bowl versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they know for sure that they had the offensive weapon, Tyreek Hill. Oh, they had Travis Kelce. They had Mecole Hardman. They had all of those boys, right? But they didn't have the offensive line. So they went back to regroup. See, what happened here in Cowboys land, they would look at it only from one angle and say, well, the quarterback trash. The quarterback had all of the weapons. He had Tyreek Hill. Oh, my goodness, he had Travis Kelce. Oh, my goodness, why they didn't win the game. But they need to do a soul search and just go back in and always reinvent themselves by doing self-inventory. And I think that the Cowboys did that this season, juxtaposed what they did in the past.
And I hear you on that point, and just my point is like, me personally, I understand that we are supporters of Mike McCarthy. My thing is, I hear that we feel like he's going to be the magic elixir with his new scheme and all that. But there's no evidence of that. It's only evidence of him not knowing how to clock manage and him making horrible decisions, like him letting. So it's like only thing I have to go on is the years that he's been here, and the years that he's been here, the only thing good that he's done is be a CEO of this team.
Right.
And just keep us just good enough.
Well. Let me cut you off one more time. What was the evidence of Andy Reid before he won his first Super Bowl of what he was able to do?
There was no evidence other than him getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But with Andy Reid, he was calling the plays.
Yeah.
Calling the plays, and he never. You know what I'm saying?
And have Andy Reid? Did Andy Reid ever won a Super Bowl without Eric Bieniemy?
He never did.
Okay, so sometimes you need another philosopher in there to get things over the hump, man. I got other callers, man. I appreciate you so much, bro, Darius. I appreciate you, man. All right. No doubt, man. All right. Good call from you, man. I thank you for your praises of me too, man. I appreciate it. A good call from him. I mean, football is an ultimate team sport. But as good as Andy Reid been, right? The reason why I can tell you from me standing from the outside looking in, the reason why Andy Reid didn't win multiple Super Bowls because he didn't have that balanced approach. Eric Bieniemy, what did he used to do? Oh, a running back. What philosophy do we bring to the table? A new wrinkle, adding running back schemes or plays into the system. Both Super Bowls that the Chiefs won, the major impact been running the ball, not throwing it. Andy Reid liked to get into a box of throwing the ball too much. Remember, I was talking about the efficiency level. Yes, the hummingbird is pretty. Can flap his wings 1,000 times per minute or something like that. Some crazy number. But it's not efficient enough to stand by itself. So that's why you do need balanced approach on all ways, right? On all aspects of the game. And I'm telling you, man, football is a game of inches. Like I said, 3 out of the 5 years, I believe, the Kansas City Chiefs been in the Super Bowl. The 2 times that they didn't make it to the Super Bowl, they made it to the overtime. They only lost by a few points. The game had to go to overtime. So football is a game of inches. Who knows, man, what would have happened if they were to get into the Super Bowl. All right, so let's get back to it. Y'all said the mic is bad. Y'all let me know if the audio is straight. Can y'all hear the audio? I got B Bird from the 409. What's on your mind? Let me see. Try back. B Bird, you're live. Some reason it ain't working. All right.
Hey, what's up, Law?
All right, yeah, I can hear you now. Talk to me, B Bird.
Oh, hey, Law. So I've called you a few times. I'm a big structure and culture guy.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I just wanted to just talk to you about. You may have covered this, but I think the thing that's going to be positive this year. We added the players, Cooks and Gilmore, Mozzie at the draft. I like the players we got. I'm still skeptical on our second round pick, the tight end. I thought that we had tight ends that could do the job, but anyway, we'll see. But the thing about it is, I think that's not getting enough attention. Is I think the structure and the culture is changing here. And you would say, well, what's the evidence? Well, we got free agents or guys. We traded for guys instead of just going to the draft trying to refill positions. That has to be a McCarthy thing because what it is, we got a little bit more urgency on us now. But I think really, I think what happened when Mike took the job, he was happy to get the job. Anybody would be. But when he got in, he probably looked and said, oh, crap, what's going on here?
Right.
So you had the same thing that happened with Wade. The OC was hired prior to, and so he was given Kellen Moore, and that was part of the job. Like you had to take Kellen Moore on, and so he took him on. But what he did was, I think, was highly intelligent. He said, "Hey, you installed it, you called it." So that was their guy. And they said basically, no, that's his thing. I'm not. It's 100% his. So if it goes right, he gets 100% of the credit. If it goes wrong, he gets 100% of the the other stuff.
Right.
Because they start asking, well, what do you do, or should you interject? And you're the head coach. No, they got this because Mike McCarthy is an offensive coach. Of course, he wants to come here and call the plays.
Right. Shoot,
but don't allow him to do that.
Right.
And so what he did, he just let Kellen fall on his own sword. And so what ends up happening is, as these things go on, now you see McCarthy get more and more power. He gets to go to Jones and say, hey, we tried it your way, right?
Right.
We tried it just by, receiver by committee. We tried it with the Kellen system thing. It didn't work. It works against your Chicago's. It works against your lower teams. But when you get into the playoffs, these are better players, better coaches, and better everything. And so it failed. And I think this year they said, okay, you're right. We're going to go your way. So he's wresting some power away. Because the organization is getting to be where it should be, right? Coach should run everything. And it should be run coach down instead of front office, offensive coordinator. So he couldn't tell Kellen Moore anything last year because Kellen's thought process was, you didn't hire me, Mike, and you can't fire me, Mike.
Right.
So you can tell me whatever you think, and you can give me that. You can give me whatever suggestions that you want as a head coach. But, dude, I got just as much power as you got here. Those Joneses love me.
True that.
And so, but I want to transfer over and tell you this. Kellen may be a better offense coordinator in San Diego for the mere fact is the structure will be in place. He will have to do what the head coach said do because the owner isn't fancied with him. You get what I'm saying? So he's going to be put in his place. No, you're offensive coordinator. If I want to run the ball, 40 times a game, you run the ball 40 times a game. Kellen last year was offensive coordinator trying to get a head coaching job. He's trying to show out and throw the ball around and do all this other kind of stuff. But what I'm saying is that I think the culture is here. It's underestimated how much that's going to help us. We got don't you know we got an experienced offensive coordinator that have won some things in this league, calling plays for the first time since maybe Bill Parcells was here.
True.
Think about it. We had Jason Garrett, who didn't know how to he didn't know how to call plays, didn't know how to formulate a game plan. Then we went to Kellen Moore. We had somebody between that, but then we went to Kellen Moore, and we had another person that did not know how to game plan, didn't have experience. We've given this offense to inexperienced offensive coordinator or play callers for probably like the last 15 years, man.
True.
And so now we got somebody in there that's actually won something, that actually went to the Super Bowl, that actually called plays with a rhyme or reason to them. And so I think that that's going to put us in some great positions. Also, we're not just relying on scheme, man. And so I think that the structure, the culture is changing, and it's changing for the better. And I also think that Kellen is going to go to a place where some structure and culture is in place, and he got to get with the program, and that's going to help him because he just had way too much power over here, man. And so I'm just really looking forward to seeing how this team operates this year. I know the gentleman before me was talking about, what has McCarthy won? Well, two things. He won a Super Bowl. The guy won a Super Bowl. And so, what I'm saying is that the guy got skins on the wall. It's no way you hire that guy that won a Super Bowl that calls plays, and you say, yeah, we hired you, we want somebody else to call the plays. That just never should happen. And it's a structural thing. And the Joneses, I'm going to say that they're getting it right now. They're getting there from a different perspective, right? Like, they didn't start it off right. But Mike's making it work right because he left him out there to dry. And I love that. Hung him out there to dry. I love that because I'm just glad he didn't get his hands in it because the Joneses would have, if he'd have called 10 plays that year, they'd have blamed it on him.
Right. And B. Bird, one of the things that I have to say here, sometimes telling them about they are wrong don't goes a long way. Sometimes you got to show them, right?
You got to show them.
you got to allow them to fall into their own traps, man.
And one thing I'll say, and I'm gonna leave after this. The 49ers game, the gentleman say that we should have beat them the second time. We had one guy on the field to make plays after Pollard left, which was P.D. Lamb. You cannot win without playmakers. You have to have playmakers. You have to be able to threaten the defense. That's why we got Brandon Cooks, man. You can't go out there with just one guy and say, and a team as good as San Francisco and say, and with stop routes and things of that sort, and say, hey, Dak, beat them with this one guy. Because we didn't have anybody in the backfield that threatened anyone. Now, I'll ask you a question here, and you can answer this offline. The thing I was disappointed with about the draft, which I'm not a draft guy, but, man, I just thought this was a great draft to get a running back that could be a bell cow after Pollard leaves because I think they're not going – I think this Pollard's last year. I think what they're going to do is just let him play out on the tag, give him $10 million, and then they're going to look to the future. But I really thought this draft – for quality, because of how many running backs are in the draft, I thought you could have went and got a bell cow. Not that I don't like Deuce. I like what he can do, but I don't want to see Deuce carry the ball 17, 18 times a game. But I thought that it had some guys in there that you could have, got them in this year and maybe gave them 10, 12 carries a game. Because what I like, this is what I like. I like to give the ball. Do you remember a couple of years ago we played against the Saints? Right. And Pollard broke it all the way. I need a guy that we can hand the ball to, and if they make a mistake, then he's off to the races, and it's over with. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have enough of those kind of guys on the team, man. And so I thought we could have picked up one in the draft this year. They had 15 to 16 great running backs we could have drafted, along with Deuce.
Right. And let me ask you this though. So you got Schoon, you got Overshown. You got from that Overshown pick, I think we went with Fihoko, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can go down the list there and say, okay, at which round? You're saying we got Deuce Vaughn, which he's the unknown, 5'5" guy, 170 pounds, give or take. So at what point should we been looking at a running back before Deuce Vaughn is your question there, right?
Well, here's the one I really wanted, and I'm sorry if I can't.
No, you good. You good.
The running back, I think he went to the Rams from Ole Miss.
Zach Evans.
Zach Evans. Yeah. I really like Zach Evans. I like his build, his speed. He's a local kid from over here at North Shore. I followed his career, but I thought he just was built to take on more runs, and I thought the value at that point in time would have been great to get. That's what I'm saying, because if you have a lot of good running backs, then it's going to push them down the line, right? And so next thing you know, in the fifth, sixth, you're like, how is this guy still here? Well, because there's a lot of running backs in the draft. Yeah. And so I think he went after Deuce. So I thought, and I'm not saying drafting him in place of Deuce. Right. I'm just saying around that time you could have made a move to go back up and say, hey, this is going to be a quality year to get a guy, and this guy could, because I'm thinking, I think any of the top 15 guys, if they are a 18 or 20 carry running back for another team, I wouldn't be surprised. Like they got the kid from Syracuse, and they had a lot of kids in this draft, man, that was like, wow, that kid is impressive. Good speed, good moves, and all these other things. and they were projecting these guys to be 6th and 5th and 6th round. I think, man, that guy's great. You know, and so what I'm saying is, I just thought it was a great draft to get a quality guy.
To get a quality guy like that. So my only thing will be is that I think that the league itself is drafting to look for like a running back by committee approach and not just this one bell cow. If you look across the league, all of the teams that pretty much use 2-back systems or 3-purpose running backs. So the Cowboys in this particular draft, in my opinion, drafted with the notion that if in a pinch, Zeke will come back for a cup of coffee. If you really look at it, that's why they probably drafted the way they did. And so we always got Zeke in the chamber. Mm-hmm.
I definitely agree with you. Only thing that concerns me, if say Pollard's out for 4 games, and then what do we do at the running back position? You see what I'm saying? I would like some explosiveness back there, that can carry the ball and kind of get us some yards there, because I wasn't necessarily thinking about, being a bell cow. But also, too, Law, I really think the league is doing running backs a disservice, because I still think there's some quality in running backs.
Right.
They're devaluing them so much that I think that really if you change your philosophy mentally as a team and say, hey, they're devaluing them, but these guys are still good. Like, we can go and get, a couple of good running backs in the 5th or 6th round that years ago would go 2nd and 3rd round. And we get a great value there and change our offense up, because I don't know if you realize this, Law, but last year offenses ran more than they did over the last 20 years as a total. So they are running the ball more, right?
Right.
And so if you get guys there's quality guys running the ball instead of just Joe Schmoes running the ball, then you're going to get more. Your offense is going to hum a little bit better that way. So I really think that, man, I think they're doing running backs a disservice, man, because I think they're still valuing them. I see guys like Zach Evans fall into the 6th and 7th round. That guy's a 2nd or 3rd rounder, years ago when they valued running backs.
Well, so we gonna find out, man. I appreciate you, B Bird, for calling in.
Hey, I appreciate you letting me on, man.
No doubt, man. That's B Bird, y'all, from the 409. Yes, I'm not gonna disagree with what he said, but overall, you just gotta roll with what the NFL is going with. As far as devaluing of the running backs, Seattle Seahawks, they definitely looking at this thing saying, shoot, well, let's run it up. The Seahawks they literally playing this song. Yeah. I just want to run it up. They running it all the way up, man. So if you think I'm lying, go see how they drafted. So, and they will be a good study, a case study to see how the touch is going to go and how all of that's going to work out. And it's just what it is. Follow the money with these running backs and just see how this thing is going to go from here. Next, I got from the 910 Shisha Queen to be. From the 910, you're live, Queen. Talk to me.
How you doing, Lon?
I'm doing well.
I am at this point, I don't know if I've already called and said this, I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But I am so bought in with what we have going on, because we have a proven head coach now who is also our play caller, which is something that he did do in Green Bay successfully.
Right.
So, I'm happy about that. That's giving me some peace. And then I believe that the people that he still has around him to launch the team forward are the people that he wants and needs to be there. I don't think that he has these picks and moles all around him like he had to have before when there was Kellen Moore there. You know what I mean? And with him and Dan Quinn's cohesion with one another, and even the gentleman that is the assistant coordinator that's not going to be calling the plays, it seems like they have a camaraderie that's going to be good for the team. And all that stuff is going to trickle down. All of that positivity is going to trickle down on the team. So now when these leaders over the team tell these young men stuff that they need them that they want them to believe that these young men are going to believe who they say they are.
Right.
Because you're not going to feel like you got the wee-woo coming from these people.
Right.
Because they show and prove and tell. You know what I'm saying? So I am very excited about this season coming up. I don't want to talk about what everybody else is thinking and saying and stuff like that. I'm looking at us to do like a 15-2 season. I don't know who we're going to lose to yet, if we lose.
Right.
Because I haven't seen the whole schedule, the full schedule. I haven't seen that.
Right.
We're going to do I have a feeling we're going to do a 15-2.
Let's get it.
And, 15-2, Law. I really feel that this year. Because this is a no-nonsense Cowboys this year. And it seems like everyone is buying in, from the players. Hey, the water boy has bought in to what's going on.
Let's get it.
With the Dallas Cowboys this year. You know what I'm saying? So we about to go in here. When is OTAs?
Right. I think next week they're gonna have the rookie mini training deal, and then I think the week after the next, then we go into the mini OTAs, and then we go head out to Oxnard. But I'm waiting on that schedule to be released.
Yeah. Do you know that song that came out a long time ago? Nothing But the Dog in Me. I think that's what it's called. Do you remember that song?
Nothing but the dog in me. I don't know. I don't know the name of it, but yeah, I know what you're talking. Oh yeah. Hippie, yeah.
Yeah, that bass and all that stuff. When they go out down that field, they need to play that song to get their minds right for that dog mentality. Because that's what we need to have this year. We already got the talent. We just need to believe it on every level. And that's all I got to say. Y'all let them hang, Cowboy Nation. And how about them Cowboys?
How about them? Yes, indeed. Let them hang, baby. That's my girl Queen right there. Always delivering and bringing us some good stuff. Yeah. Somebody said Atomic Dog, and Trev says the dog catcher. Yeah. But some of these guys, man, unless they Q dogs, they don't know nothing about the dog catcher and the Atomic Dog out there. So, but shout out to all of the people that's been watching and what have you. All right, so let me see who else we have here. We got Jake the Great, Glenn Law, and Marv. Okay, we got Jake the Great from the 561. You're live.
Yo, Law, what's happening, man? Can you hear me good?
Yep, they can hear you.
All right, good. I'm riding old Megatron through these cow fields, picking up some sod out here in the middle of nowhere, Florida.
Oh, man, they need the side, though. They need the side. But appreciate you, bro. Talk to me.
They need the side. Yeah, so shout out to 105.3, the Ops. That's what they is, because they ain't the fan. They definitely the Ops. I sat there and I watched them boys talk all that junk about Mike McCarthy saying, how Kellen Moore had the top offense. Like, I know we are not seeing the different things. How can we all watch the game and know that, hey, it's not that Kellen Moore's not smart. It's just that he calls passing at the most unopportune time. You know what I'm saying?
Yup.
And I just don't understand how it's like, who do you guys want the Cowboys to win or not? Because if the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, I think there's going to be a lot of people without jobs, man, because they're going to run out of stuff to hate on.
Yeah. I mean, I think that.
You can't say
Nah. Well, what I'm going to say here is, you just said a mouthful. That is exactly what Kellen Moore is. He's a dude that he's smart, he's brilliant, but don't know when to put those two pieces together. You know. Yeah, but that's just how it goes.
I'm not wishing bad on Kellen.
No.
He's going to get to San Diego land, and then he's going to do good for about 1 or 2 games. He's going to run into one of those defensive mind coaches, like from Pittsburgh, and then he's going to go to his collection of players. He ain't going to have no answers. And he's going to be one and done out there in San Diego. But not San Diego, my fault.
L.A. Live and die in L.A. Yeah.
You already know. But what I really wanted to call, man, and say, man, hey, the final word is such an awesome show, man. Hey, I've been laughing at that show for about 2 weeks now. Even the last one, but the week before last one, the OT, the OC went crazy and called y'all soft. Man,
Yeah.
that is a great show. If Jerry Jones is smart, he needs to put some money behind that final word with y'all folk. You, Big Game James, the OC and Boss. Great dynamic, man. I love it. I love it, man. I love it. That's all I got to say, really, though.
Man, I
How about the
appreciate you,
Cowboys?
man.
Yeah. Take it next time, Law.
No doubt, man. Jake the Great, man. I appreciate him for his love and adulations, especially with the thoughts on the final word or what have you. When we talking about scaling, your business or scaling what you do, the final word is great, but we're going to have to improve that, right? We can't continue to do, hey, we talking in boxes, right? We're going to have to go out here and get us a studio or what have you and have that thing in the studio, Pat McAfee style or the Pivot Podcast style final word. And eventually that will happen, though. We can't put the cart in front of the horse, but eventually that's the goal. And eventually we will get things out of the mud that way, and it will happen for us all. When I look at, the flow of the shows of what we do out here is just phenomenal, man. Let me see if I can get this right here. Y'all bear with me. And that's just how it goes, man. Somebody sent me this one earlier, and it's right around the corner. It won't take long. It would not take long at all for us to get to those levels and things like that. Boom. Here was a report from Pat McAfee's or what have you deal there, and it was breaking. ESPN has merged as the leading candidate for Pat McAfee, his new home as he moved closer to an exciting exiting his $120 million FanDuel thing. So $120 million, man. $120 million, man. That's a big deal, man. So maybe, just maybe, ESPN finna pay that man his big bag, and it's finna get crazy over there from Pat McAfee. And this all goes to doing something that you love versus something that you like, you know what I'm saying? And he's developed a unbelievable platform so that he can be graced with those type of things. But in order for him to get there, he do 2-3 hour shows, right? So it's nothing that we can't do, but it's something down the line that we should be able to do, down the line when all of these things. Let me showcase this, not to bring up man's salary, but who was to ever think that a kicker, you know what I'm saying? He's a kicker, for crying out loud, will make $30 million a year. $30 million a year at the age of 35. Man, you know what I'm saying? So goals, everybody have a reason, but results are what matter. And by the back of what we do in the nation, we're not that far off, you know what I'm saying? We're not that far off, ladies and gentlemen. So it will eventually happen, but you got to get it out of the mud. And we are probably one sponsorship away or one person away to believe in you. Speaking of a kicker, we need one. Yeah, you ain't lying. Let me let the other caller on right quick. All right, we got Glenn Law, you're live, baby, from the 202. You're live.
Hey, what's good, Law? You're right about that kicker, man. We definitely need one badly. So I just wanted to get clarification. I kind of tuned in, I think, when you're in the middle of going through the radio show on the Fan. Did Kellen actually quit, or did he get let go by the staff? What was the bottom line? What's the bottom line on that? Did he actually quit?
It's said that he walked away because he was frustrated, right, with Mike McCarthy. He got frustrated with Mike McCarthy. And it could be. We would see one game, he would call a damn good game plan against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then the next game he would do a whole different opposite, so when did he have time to go talk to those people in Chargers land, right? So it's just so many things. So I just think that, like they said, he got frustrated with Mike McCarthy, or Mike McCarthy got frustrated with him and fired him, but instead of being fired, they probably softly let him go.
Okay, that makes sense. And, if you sit and think about it, this was really inevitable. And I think you really touched on it in a couple calls back. that Mike McCarthy, he's a West Coast guy, right? He is a West Coast offense guy. He believes in the horizontal passing game, a lot of run after the catches, a lot of screens, a lot of things that we just haven't done around here because we've got, I don't know how many times removed from the Air Coryell system, and it's almost like a game of telephone that caught up with Kellen Moore, right?
Right.
If Air Coryell were to sit down and watch the Cowboys offense from the past couple of years, he would say, well, what system is that? Because that sure isn't the system that I've been running because so many of the things have changed. Uh-huh. And so, my criticism of Kellen Moore, really it's just that, to me, he just never had either the ability or willingness to self-scout. I mean, look, I think we've all been young. I think I got a couple years on you, not to say that, I'm advanced, beyond you or anything like that, but everyone's been young at that time, and then sometimes you kind of think you know everything. You can have a humble demeanor, and he definitely does on the sideline, but you can kind of tell he thinks he's got everything figured out because he racks up a bunch of yards. But what he doesn't understand, or at least he didn't learn here, is that football really is situational. It makes no difference if I'm leading the NFL in yards, but when I get into a playoff game and it's 3rd and 4 and I can't move the chains because I can't scheme anybody open and all my receivers are running 15-yard curls, which are essentially all verticals, right? And when you got a pass rush coming in your face, you're killing your quarterback and you're going to have a lot of 3 and outs. And Kellen never seemed to understand that the variation is important and window dressing is important. So, I wish him the best, but it ran its course here, and I think Mike McCarthy knew it all along that it would just never work, but he was smart, and he just sat and watched, and he showed them that it wouldn't work. So the other thing I wanted to ask you is really about the defense. I think that what we have going on with Mozzie, I'm super excited to see our defensive line. I guess my question to you is that, do you think that our defensive line will record more tackles than we have had in years past? Because when I look at this team, when I look at the Cowboys over the past several years, to me, it's been evident that we seem to have collected a bunch of pass rushers, and that's okay when you basically are in these high-scoring games where you know that the opponent has to drop back to try and keep up with you. But I think in an ideal world, you don't want to have to stress your linebackers or your secondary into accumulating tackles. And so what I see with this team is that I think this defensive line is going to have, because they're going to be fresher, I believe, I think you're going to see more tackles accumulated by the defensive line so that we're not stressing out our linebackers or secondary, because we're already tackling better than I think we have in the last couple of years since Dan Quinn's come on board. That's one thing that's been noticeable. The tackling is better. But I think our defensive tackles recording more tackles will take some of the pressure off of the rest of the linebacking core and secondary. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it will. When you talk about linebackers and the secondary itself, when you have pressure up front and when you are able to do that, instead of the ball coming out within, and you're sitting on routes, you're playing that DB role, you're sitting on routes and you're waiting for that ball to be released. Now you know for sure, and within 2 seconds, this ball got to be here. So I can play differently. I can be more aggressive. I can knock the receiver off the route, and if it's a hot route, my safety can play more to the edges now. So I think that comes from interior pressure. That comes from even when the Seattle Seahawks had their Legion of Boom. Big Maybang in the middle, right? Gobble up a lot. He didn't, everybody know everybody's name, but they don't know Big Maybang, right? We can talk about the Haloti Nadas of the Ravens. We can talk about teams that had that big boy down inside. We can talk about the fact that when, I think in 2010, Green Bay Packers won the Super Bowl, they had Colin Jenkins as well as B.J. Raji inside the middle. So, and they had 5 guys to make it to the Pro Bowl that year.
Yeah.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers was one of them, believe it or not.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that I'm excited about because you look at and again, I hate to keep going back to the 90s and the glory years, but how soon we forget the Russell Marylands, the Tony Tolberts, the Tony Casillas, the Chad Hennings. Those were the guys in the middle where offenses knew that they couldn't run the ball. They just absolutely could not run up the middle, and it made for an overall better defense. So I guess with that, I'll let you go. Thanks for taking the call, and I'll keep listening to the show.
Anytime, man. Shout out to you, Glenn Law. Appreciate him, man. Appreciate him for all he do and bringing in some great insights to the team and for the team. All right. So his update of the schedule brought to you by Professor O. Allegedly, alleged. All right, so let's see what we have here. All right, so the schedule leaked out. Shout out to you, Matt Owens. He says here, check out his Twitter page for more and more details of this account right here. Let me just go right here. Let me put it in the chat right here. Boom. And check out his Twitter page here. So the Cowboys got updated schedule leak. Week 1 at the Giants. Week 2, we stay in New York. We go to the Jets or what have you. No, at Giants. And then Jets going to be at home, right? Okay, yeah, at home. So we stay playing a team from New York. We play the Jets at home. And then we go to, damn. Is that correct? Okay, 3 and then it skips 4. So week 4 is our bye week. Okay, so we at Arizona, at San Francisco. So week 4. This not all of the numbers here though, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, we're missing a few days, but these are the schedules that leaked out. Okay, week 11 we got Carolina. This is new. Week 12 we kind of figured it was going to be Washington, and week 14 we knew that it was going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. So yeah, I can't wait to. Week 17 is down to Chargers, Lions, and Dolphins, according to him. And I think Detroit will be week 17. So appreciate you, Matt Owens. Thank you Professor O. Man, appreciate you, dog, for this details here. The first 3 weeks, Sunday Night Football, the Jets, and then we go back on the road against the Arizona. I can literally look at this thing and say easily we can be 3-0. I'm looking at this. I'm seeing 3-0. What do you guys see? Do you guys see 3-0? And I hope our bye week is a little bit closer down the line. But it looks like our bye week will be week 4. And I don't like that. I don't like early bye weeks. I like to save our bye weeks down the line or down the stretch because we play those 3 games in 12 days. But let me see. What do you guys think, Professor O? 3-0 easily. Do y'all agree? Yes. Do y'all agree? Yes. Forever DC, he says, which sucks. Yeah. That do suck for us to have a early bye week. If the bye week starts in week 4, I thought it got to start at a certain week. So hopefully those numbers are off a little bit. But looking at this scheduling right here, man, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. So the 2 New York teams, we're going to give them both L's, and we'll hush the 4-letter networks up, man, and the 3-letter network, because that's where they reside at. They all reside on the East Coast over there, and they all love the Giants. They don't love them. They don't like them. They love them. They love the Giants. They love the Jets. They've been in shells with the Jets, so we hand those 2 East Coast media teams, because that's what they are, that L, and woo, and we would tell them, don't try to hype us up for the Arizona game. Leave us alone. Keep doubting us. Keep saying what we going to be. Shoot. And then by the time that San Fran game come around, boy, we be in good tip-top shape. Woo! Come on, y'all. But I hope that our bye week is right before Philly, though, just to be fair, since we got that voided area right there. Yeah. The Jets will only be a tough match because they are presenting them to be such. I get it. The Jets, they had a good finish last season. They got Aaron Rodgers, but we're going to let them know. We're going to let them know. Week 4 is in the bye week. Appreciate you, Professor O. It will be between 6 and 8, okay? So that put a lot of things into good, proper perspectives there. So if we look at it for round 6, round 6 and 8th week, I want it to be that 8th week. It give us enough time. I don't want it to be week 6. I don't want it to be week 7. I really want it to be week 8. I get it. We coming fresh off the bye, right? What I want us to do is have that victory right before we go to our bye. And then we head right in to play those Eagles. That's going to work wonderful for us. Oh, yeah. I want the Eagles 2 game 1. Yeah. Y'all be sure to check out my guy, Professor O, man. Check out his tweet, his Twitter page. And let me see if I can pin it to the top. We'll let this caller in. We're going to get my guy from the 904. Darrell, you're live.
Hey, Lo, how you doing, sir?
Hey, man, I'm doing well, man.
That's great, man. And I'm checking out the schedule.
Oh yeah.
And the schedule is looking kind of it's looking pretty nice right now, man. I'm thinking, to be honest with you, I think we can actually kind of run in the table a little bit. And I'm looking at around about a 14-3. And remember, we still got to play New England, and we have to play Miami, which I'm definitely going to that game.
Okay.
And then we got and then there's another opponent that we have to play with. We got to face the Chargers, which that probably gonna be telling more like this is a little wake up game or something like that, because you're gonna prove like, oh, y'all gonna fire me? This is what I'm gonna do to you.
Yeah. I wish that game would be a little bit earlier. I think that game should be week 4, But Professor O said he got it more so, I think right here. I think he said more so week 17 is down to the Chargers, Lions, and Dolphins. I don't want to play the Chargers that late. I want to play them around week 4, get it out the way.
Right. I agree with you on that, because I think last time we played them within week 2.
Yeah, we did literally play them week 2. Yeah.
And then we just moved on from there. But now we got the Jets in the early spot, because we owe the Jets from moving to them last
2019.
Last time we was in
yeah.
It was actually 24-22. Yeah, because we went for 2 and we didn't get it.
Oh yeah, I was talking about the year. Was it year 2019?
Yeah, it was 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
That ended up being because they didn't have a win yet, and we coming in there undefeated.
Yeah.
So they the one gave us our first loss of the. Then we ended up having like a 3-game losing streak or something like that.
Yeah. Jamal Adams, PI, he PI my guy Jason Witten, But that's a story of another day.
Yeah. But that's a different story another day. Yeah, definitely. And then because we could easily, and I want to see how Philadelphia run this table now. Since everybody was bragging about, we were 14-3 last year. Okay, you got a first place schedule.
Yeah.
Let's see if you run that same record.
Run it
have
back.
That same energy and run 14-3. Because think about it, we went 12-5 and we got a first place schedule and we matched it, and we still end up being in second place.
Yeah.
Even when we had a backup that came in and won 3 of our 4 games.
Yeah.
As a backup.
Yeah.
So I give Rush his props and everything. He did an excellent job, but then now we got to regroup and kind of recover from it. But now I'm loving what we're seeing on this defense. I really do. And at first I was like, why we get Matthew Smith? But then when I kept looking at the tape and you were showing it, and I was like, man, this dude is gonna be a monster. He kind of remind me of Leroy Glover.
Oh wow.
Back in the early 2000s.
Well,
because Glover was like a plug that we needed. And remember, back in the early 2000s, we had the number 1 defense. We just didn't have but he had a 31st ranked offense.
Man, we just didn't have anything that matched peanut butter, no jelly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we just had that type of stuff. Burger. Ham, no burger, man.
What?
Yeah.
What? I'm telling you, I'm like, man. That was the most stingiest defense that we ever had since the early '90s. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, man, if we could ever put this shit together. And then all of a sudden, then that's when Parcells came in and he installed the system. He had Sean Payton in there and everything, and it kind of worked out.
No doubt, man.
But
I appreciate you, dog. I gotta let you go though, man. But Darryl, I thank you so much for calling in, fam.
All right, Law. Hey, I got to come out there and see you, man. You know, my birthday tomorrow, man. I'm gonna be celebrating my 53rd birthday tomorrow.
Man.
And Lord just bless me, and I'll tell you, and man, it's gonna be wonderful.
Man, happy birthday to you, bro. Man, happy birthday to you, man. Celebrate this thing, man, all the way through. And, hey, some good news going to happen on your birthday. Watch. Just watch. I just feel it, man. Appreciate you.
All right, now. All right. I'm going to be looking forward to it. And I'll see you soon, Law.
No doubt, bro. Appreciate you, man. All right, we're going to try to
the conference has been live.
Get on up out of here, man. I gotta bounce. But I got my guy MJ from the 206, and then we got JP, you next. MJ, you live.
What up, Law? How you doing, bro?
Nothing to it, Chief. Holla at me, man.
Nah, man, I just listened to the Green, and the other guy was talking true facts. If you don't have no foundation, that's why you lose.
True.
We never had a foundation.
Yep.
And now, you should tell everybody's working on the same page. When you work on the same page, you got a chance to go forward than what you used to doing. You know what I'm saying?
True.
You know, scheming, everything is running. Like I said, you're going to see a lot of screens, going to see a lot of play action. And this time, that's why they're so excited. That number 3 going to burn you. And he always burn you. He got over 8,000 yards receiving, still young, 29, still going to run fast.
Yeah.
When he turns 30, still going to be fast. So, and anybody go against you talking about Philly got the best receivers? Oh, no, they don't. Number 3 got over 8,000 yards, always burning people, and he's better than Philadelphia, number 6. So that's not even a question. So if y'all get in a debate, when you go on them shows, tell them shut up. 8,000 yards to a guy that's been in the league 2 or 3, get out of here, man. That's no comparison. And CD and the same guys on the same page, and CD is taking his statue up to another level. So we're going to do them with the receivers. We got dangerous halfbacks. I'm gonna tell y'all something. That little halfback, I watched that tape again.
Right.
You can't see him behind the line, man.
You can't see him, man. You can't hit what you can't see, bro. And that's what a lot of people fail to realize. Yes,
that's
indeed.
What people realize.
You can't hit what you can't see.
I'm like, man, get that little dude. And next thing you know, 20 yards. You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So, and it's gonna make Dak Prescott look good. I'm not worried about the offensive line. Everything gonna get put in place, and the defense gonna come from everywhere. So man, it's looking good for the Cowboys, man. And last night, I know you saw that Lakers game. They won't give us no call, and they talking smack. And I like when they do that. And you could tell he was pissed, and LeBron was pissed. So we're gonna win Friday night.
I mean, it's been a seesaw with AD, so and then even how that game go and how the flow went. So yeah, I can't wait to see that game on Friday night, and then maybe we be popping some champagne bottles, man. I appreciate you, MJ. Thank you so much for calling in, fam.
And hit them lights from a bar law nation.
Yes, salute. Indeed, man. Salute. That's my guy, MJ. 971 JP. You're live.
Hey, what's going on? Brookhaven in the house, baby.
No doubt, bro.
Hey. I ain't gonna keep it long. Hey, I wish that first game would have been San Fran.
Yeah, that would have been nice, man, if San Fran was to get it out the way. But week 5, it'll be a build-up. Like I called my brother this morning. I said, hey, now we can go right into it. We'll know what our team is all about. Because, normally it takes about a week or so to get your team in rhythm. So we should know who the Niners are, and they should know who we are around week 5.
Yeah. My expectation, Super Bowl this year, baby.
I mean,
home field advantage. Home field advantage. That's what I'm looking forward to. Everybody focus on the offense, but I'm focused on the defense. Like I said on my show, if this defense can get cracking, if they can get a pass rush all season and the playoffs, we'd be all right.
There we go.
We need to be better than Philly. And like I said, man, hey, man, I'm looking forward to the defense, man. I know y'all worried about this offense, but if we could stop them on a few possessions, and we'll be all right. We need some turnovers, baby.
No doubt, man. Get turnovers, get the ball back to your offense, man. Play short field.
What about D-Law?
D-Law.
D-Law getting to the pass rush. Is he gonna be any good this year? No.
I mean, D-Law gonna give you about 7 to maybe 8 sacks a year, and he's gonna stop the run on his way to the quarterback. So that's what D-Law gonna bring to the table. I'm not looking for him to be a double-digit guy anymore. I just know that he's gonna be a hell of a run stopper, and he's gonna force a turnover. He's gonna force a fumble. He's gonna scoop up a fumble and score from there for the 2023 season. That's what D-Law is.
You going to Oxnard?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you already got it booked. Okay, then. Man, I'm about to meet you down there. Where you stay? I probably won't put that up.
Hey, man, you know, we will let everybody know when we out there, man. But, hey, see you out there in Oxnard. But they haven't came out with the schedule yet.
You might see that Brookhaven. They haven't?
They haven't came out with the Oxnard schedule yet. No.
Oh, you might see that Brookhaven boy out there.
No doubt, man.
Giving you Macomb. You Macomb fellas a little trouble, baby.
Well,
I might even have my Panther sweatshirt on. Who knows?
Man, you know, it is what it is. Appreciate you, JP. Thank you.
I love you. Hey, stay out my backyard. Hey, Mississippi in the house, man.
No doubt, man.
Hey.
Appreciate you, man. Salute.
Okay.
That's a good call from my guy JP, man, from Mississippi, man. Thank everybody that called in. I thank those who wanted to call but couldn't get in. If you click the link that's pinned to the top of my YouTube page, it would take you right to Matt Owens' page where you can see the schedule and all what it got over there. So appreciate y'all so much, man, for tuning in. Be sure to know this, Cowboy Nation, that even when you look back at this schedule, shout out to you, JC Cowboy Network. My guy Law, shout out to you, bro. Appreciate you, JC. Keep doing your thing too, man. Keep doing your thing, man. He got wonderful content. Be sure to check him out. And I thank him for all what he do for these Cowboys communities. And especially, you know, it's not an easy job. Everybody got ways of they telling you how your job or what you do over there should look like, but when you get into it, shoot, you realize, man, this ain't easy. But you know what, Cowboy Nation? If it was all easy, then everybody will be doing it, right? To this level. So what I'm saying is, things are meant to be rough. Things are meant to be hard. But when you love it, it becomes smooth, even when it's difficult. Cowboy Nation, be sure to hit that like button, share this content. Let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. Jay Lombardi, he says salute to you, Law and Cowboys fam. Great work as always. Much appreciated, Law. Everyone make sure to hit that like and share this content. Appreciate you. Jay Lombardi with the party. You see, everybody already got it all figured out. They're saying, watch how it goes. Cowboys will not make it to the playoffs. That's what they say. Cowboys will not win a playoff game. And then when you win a playoff game, they won't win 2. Then you win 2. Oh, they won't get to the Super Bowl. When you get to the Super Bowl, they always continue to say those things. It's easier to say what the Cowboys will not do. It's harder to be where we are at right now, believe it or not. And we're not finna fold up like a wallet nor a lawn chair. No. We're going to continue to strive. We're going to continue to fight. Jim Rowan said, when the end comes for me, let it find me conquering a new mountain, not sliding down an old one. Meaning that I'm looking for more and more opportunities, more and more situations to conquer And the Cowboys themselves, they should know that they got a big old target on their back, forehead, chest. Shoot, we the number one on everybody's list, regardless. And we're going to be the most talked about scheduling. Week 1, week 2, week 3. The strength of schedules and beyond. And that's right, Lisa. Appreciate you. But write this down. When you're up against your struggles, meet it squarely, face to face. Lift your chin, set your shoulders, plant your feet, and take a brace. When it's vain to try to dodge it, do the best that you can do. You may fall, you may conquer, see it through. And if you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad, that you don't get tired, and it makes you hold everything taut of your cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, or plan, and lose all terror of your mind, if you would simply go after the thing you want with all of your capacity, strength, and scarcity, with faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold, poverty, or famish or fame, or sickness of your body or brain can turn you away from the thing you want, if dogged and grim and besieged and beset, with the help of Almighty Cowboy Nation, damn, you will get it, baby. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. Shout out to you, Patrice. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys.
Give me my theme music.
Yeah, baby. Come on. Ho. Ho. Let go, baby. Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Faith. Law.
I just wanna run
faith. Yes, indeed.
Kind of check or something. I've been really in the field, yeah.
Patrice says, well, keep going as we have scarcity. Yes. Let's go. Lately, I just want to run it up. Come on.
Don't need no deals, I make the
and roll those cribs. Come on.
Lately, I just want to run it up.
Come on. Hey.
Count that too, count it up. Count it up, count it up, count it up. Lately, I just want to run it up. Need them ones, I need them fives, need them tens, I need that change.
Come on.
The safe got blues inside. Greens and pinks, it's all the same. I still save and roll my change. Take some losses when I play. Charge it to the game.
Shout out to Sadiq. Go Cowboys. Who will lost?
Still the same, now switching sides. Now it's about loyalty.
Come on.
You switch sides off for the bag, and that's worth more to me.
Chief Eagles Monday Night Football just announced.
You just rock what's on the
shout out to you, J Business. Come on. Manual. Appreciate you. Too legit.
I've been really in the field. Love the rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. I have to take it to emotional. I just wanna run it up. Yeah. Kinda check a song. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Shout out to you, Matt Bat 10. Appreciate you. Much love to you. Thank you. Let's go. Hey. Hey. Ho. Come on.
Too many foes and clothes.
Too many.
I be at home alone. I be in zones alone.
I be on roll alone. Come on.
I been really in the field. Love the rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. I have to take it to a meal. Lately,
Scorpio, appreciate you. He said Tanner McKay to the Eagles.
Kinda check a song.
Dang.
Lately, I just wanna run it up.
He needs some milk.
Count that too. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Everything gon' be alright.
Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Depend on you if you win or lose.
Lately, I just wanna
you got to
run
pay
it up.
some dues to live on Monday. Yeah.
DJ Law Nation. Let's go. Shout out to Uncle Charles. That should go platinum.
This is Sparta! Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
I want me some glory hole.
Take a drag of my cigarette. Breathe me out, breathe you in.
Again.
Yeah.
You pray for rain, you gotta deal with the mud.
Bite of my burger, babe. Save the last bite for you.
And you. What we tell them?
Don't let the street lights hit you all alone. You know it's dangerous to go alone. Don't let the street lights hit you.
Settle down.
Can I be your player too?
I follow.
Wherever you go,
Whatever you do.
Loud free from desire, you feel caught in desire, you see only the manifestation.
7 years of a perfect love. 7 more and another one.
And another one.
And another one. I think you was the one I loved.
It's
7
the nasty
is
guy.
all in one. All in one. Don't let the street
Lights hit you.
all alone. You know it's dangerous to go alone. Don't let the street lights hit you. Can I be your
Player too. I follow. Come on.
wherever you go, whatever you do, play it too. If a paper crane can fly,
Building the plane while it's in the air.
then forever doesn't feel that far. So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly, then forever doesn't feel that far. So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on.
Want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
You have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet, who you're going because you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're
What, this motherfucker don't miss? No, he's good. That motherfucker don't miss, man. He's good. In the heat of battle, he don't miss. No. In the heat of controversy, he don't
When you have favor, people may not try to kill you, but they will try to diminish you. They have a hard time respecting you when you got favor. It's like this. The best way I can describe it is, it's just hard for them to celebrate you. That's the spirit of jealousy. The spirit of jealousy doesn't just want what you got. It's just hard to be happy for whatever you got. Just like if it's time to clap for you, their hands won't touch. It's just that you can't make the clap sound. It's just they'll secretly look at your post, but they can't hit the like button. I just can't hit like. I can't hit the heart. I can't even repost it because I don't like you. Here's the thing you gotta understand. Jealousy always ascends. It is actually twisted applause. It always ascends. You know, I ain't never been jealous of somebody that was doing worse than me. People who are hating on you because they're looking up at you. You'll get there later on. Hate always rises. It rises from a little place. Yeah. And a little person will try to belittle the person they're looking up to. That's hate.
Now, so the cocaine's happening. When does that crack come into play for you?
You have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're